philosophers, which is great. Thank you for asking questions about Hegel. The card, that's amazing. I'm so sick of people asking me about lizard people. So, you know, lizard people, hollow moons, and flat Earth. So yes, please keep questions about Rene Descartes and Hegel, and even with Kenna or Watts. Yes, please. This is nice. But however, I could talk about this forever. Stanislav says, "You are not sexy, but somehow easy to watch." I'm sorry that I am not sexy. Enough for you, Stanislav. Please let me know what I can do to increase your libido. So, okay. Let's do this topic because it's an important one. Oh, by the way, guys, I want to mention in our secret patrons only live stream that's going to be happening after this. We have secret live streams every week for Patreon supporters, and the secret patrons only live stream today. I will be swallowing a sword. Remember, I am a trained professional. Do not try this at home, but I will be swallowing a sword because a Patreon supporter earned a sword for me to swallow, sign it, and send it to them. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be swallowing this live in our supporters only live stream. And if you want to be a part of that, now's a great time to support on Patreon. It's the best way to support my work, and you get to see really interesting stuff like that, which I do not do often. I don't really do it publicly, so that's there. Okay, so let's do this. Renee, James, and Melissa, thanks for the stars. Yes. So today we are talking about embracing your power, overcoming obstacles, and the will to power. And this is something that I want to talk about today because guess what? The world is in a shitty place and there are a lot of obstacles to overcome, both personally and collectively. You know, whether that's in your personal life, dealing with goals that you want to achieve, or anxiety, and then collectively as well with regard to, you know, the billionaire class destroying the world and, you know, hunger and religion and all these terrible things. There's a lot of obstacles to overcome, both personally and collectively. And the thing is that we are systems of energy ourselves. That's what we are. Okay, we know that we are not just our bodies, we are not our avatars, but we are eternal minds, eternal monadic souls. And what are we? We are systems of energy with the capacity for power. So really what we are and what our purpose is to maximize our power, configure our energy optimally, as optimal as possible, to maximize our power, maximize ourselves, maximize our actualization, and maximize our expression. And I want to talk about this today. I'm going to tell you a little about my story, which probably some of you are familiar with, but for those who are new, I want to talk about it. And there's a lot of things I've had to overcome in my life, such as RTS, religious trauma syndrome. I've had to overcome a phobia of needles and a phobia of public speaking. And the way to do that is through the will to power. And there's a lot to go on and talk about. Maybe I'll do another video on this at some time, because there's just so much to talk about. But I'm going to try and break this down as quickly as possible. Basically, when it came down to it, I had these phobias, right? I had these phobias of hypodermic needles. I had these phobias of public speaking. And the way to get over them is through exercising one's will to power. Now, when I was, going through all this, like public speaking, I wanted to be a performer. For those who don't know, I am a performance artist, okay? Like I said, during our secret live stream, I'm going to be swallowing a sword. Don't try this at home. I'm a trained professional. I've been doing it for years and years and years. I am a professional. I was getting started, I wanted to be this performer, but I had an intense phobia of public speaking. And I tried all these different self-help things, all these different NLP tools and psychological methods. And guess what? They helped a little bit. But what really allows one to overcome is tapping into one's will to power, putting one's nose to the grindstone, and using one's sheer will to overcome. Now, don't get me wrong. These psychological methods are helpful. NLP can be very, very helpful. But there comes a time when one has to step out of just these exercises and out of one's comfort zone and into the fire. And this is why even we say perispera ad astra, through your struggle to the stars. And a lot of people don't like to hear that. And again, if I were just trying to be popular, I wouldn't be talking about this. I would be telling you, oh yeah, just think what you want and the universe will provide. Yeah, law of attraction. Just if you envision it every day, it'll happen. Yeah, you see the number 1111, that's the universe telling you that you're going to get checks in the mail and your love life's going to be perfect. No, here's the deal. If you want your life to change, yes, you do have to set an intention. You do need to set your intention, and you do need to focus on it. But you also have to insert will as well. Without that will, you are sitting in the water. You're dead in the water. This is what it's like. If you are in a car and you want to get to some place, you need to have a destination, and that's you setting your intention. But guess what? If you don't have fuel in that car, you're just going to sit there all day. It doesn't matter if you have an intention. So you see all these new age ideas like law of attraction and all these different new ideas about setting your intention. They totally ignore will. And so you need both. You need intention and will. Because if you're sitting in a car, your intention is where you need to go. And if you don't have fuel in the car, you're never going to get there. It doesn't matter if you know where you're going to go, you're never going to get there. But likewise, if you don't know where you're going and you have tons of fuel, well, you'll never get anywhere either because you don't have a place that you're trying to arrive at. So you'll just be driving in different circles, going in different places, and then, this is when you see, people who just sort of run in circles and they try a bunch of different things and they're trying out all this different stuff, but they're still unfulfilled. They don't really know what they're doing or why they're doing it. They have a lot of, drive, but they're not driving anywhere. So you need both. You need both intention and will. If you're missing one or the other, you're shit out of luck. You have to have both. And once again, people don't like the will part. People don't like because that's an extremely difficult part. And so, like I said, when my intention was I wanted to be a performer, and what was my obstacle that I needed to overcome was that I had a fear of public speaking. So what did I do? What did I do was this is where you now inject the will and perispera ad astra through struggle to the stars. What I did was I began public speaking as much as I possibly could. I took classes on public speaking, which made you get up in front of people and give presentations. I began doing open mic nights as often as possible in coffee shops and other locations like that. And I began doing street performing. I would get on the street, perform in front of crowds of people. And so I was doing this where I was getting in front of crowds and crowds of people at least 3 times a week, if not more. And that's the thing, is when you go out there and you do it again and again and again and again and again and again, and you insert will, this is how you're going to start to overcome your obstacles and achieve your goals, as long as you know how to get there. Again, I used to be terrified of public speaking. Now I am more comfortable on a stage in front of hundreds or thousands of people than I am one-on-one conversations or small conversations. And the reason why is because when I'm in front of thousands of people, I can 100% be expressive of who I am and what I am. When I'm in a small group setting, you have to follow. It becomes very when I'm dealing with, say, normal people, I have to run this sort of simulation in my mind. What do normal people talk about? Because I can't exactly start talking about Hegel and phenomenology of spirit and ontological mathematics and Fourier transforms when I'm like with a couple of it just I might as well be talking another language. They won't know what I'm talking about. So anyways, but that is, let me know if you can relate to that. I'm sure many of you can relate to this. But the point is that sheer will is necessary, coupled with intention. And that's the thing that you're not going to be told when you go to, like these new age ideas and whatnot. They cut out the will part completely because it's hard work. And again, I had another phobia of hypodermic needles. Just needles. So if I would get a vaccination at the doctor, I'm just pausing now. It was great. I said the V word. Now social media is probably going to flag my video. Oh my God, you said the V word. If I would get a shot at the doctor's, I would pass out. It was that bad. Just a minor shot. I would pass out. And so what I did was I began piercing myself every single day to get over that. And then I ended up doing, in my performance art, insane deep tissue piercings when we go through the center of the bicep or, underneath the tongue and at the bottom of the chin. Overcame this completely. And remember, disclaimer, do not try this at home, okay? Do not do that. It's extremely dangerous. You will hurt yourself, possibly die. I'm a professional. Don't try that. Don't pierce yourself, okay? I gotta say that disclaimer. But the point is that it's through will and determination. And one needs to realize that they are a powerful entity, and you have that power to overcome the obstacles in your life, even if you don't feel like it. You need to change your mindset because you have the power to overcome. It might not seem like it, but you do. You need to set your intention, and then you need to apply that will to power to overcome all obstacles in your way. And whether these are, things in your life dealing with anxiety or goals you want to achieve, always have a clear direction, a clear path, a clear goal, and then have the will to start taking the steps to climb that mountain to reach the summit. You need both. You need a place you're trying to get to, and then you need to have the will to begin that climb to get there. And this all wraps up with Friedrich Nietzsche's idea of the world being will to power. He says the world is will to power and nothing besides, which basically Nietzsche, very core to Nietzsche's idea, is that the world itself is this system of energy that is seeking to actualize its power. And so, for example, Charles Darwin's, we have the theory of evolution, and the theory of evolution is about survival. But Nietzsche said, no, it's not about survival. It's not just about survival. It's about power. It's not about survival, it's about power. And you can see this today very, very clearly. So in the early stages of evolution, it seems like it's about survival. And the reason why that it seems like it's about survival is because, well, you have to be alive to have power. Survival is sort of the first step. It's kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You need to be alive to be able to achieve greater things. You need to be alive to be able to maximize your power. So in the early stages of evolution, it seems like it's about survival, and it is about survival, but that's just the first stage on maximizing your power, because if you're dead, you can't maximize your power. But we see this today. Evolution has not stopped with human beings. Evolution continues. Now look at humanity today. Is everyone trying to survive and that's it? No. A great many people are, because this is an effed up world, and many of us are still on that level in this crazy, crazy world where we're just trying to survive. But there are many other, look at, like the billionaire class. Are they just trying to survive? No, they're trying to maximize their power. If you look at, different artists and just thinkers, and just look at people in general. People aren't simply just trying to survive. Again, many are, because we live in an effed up world. But if we are in a position where we can do more of that, we are going to to try to maximize our power. And the problem here now becomes that even though everyone is trying to maximize their power, people have internally defined what power is differently. And they're each stuck in a different reality tunnel that has applied a different concept and a different definition to power. So, for example, someone who follows a mainstream religion, their idea of maximizing their power will be to align themselves with the creator God, because for them the creator God is the most powerful being, so to maximize their power, well, they're going to ally themselves with the creator God. Now, for like a billionaire, to them, money is the most, is their definition of power, so they're trying to get as much money as possible. For someone else, maybe taking care of the earth is power to them. So everyone will define power differently, subjectively, but everyone is trying to maximize this. Now, what we need to do is to, what one needs to do is to accurately conform their definition of power to what power actually is objectively. So what is power truly? True power is personal and collective actualization. That's what true power is. True power isn't money. True power isn't, trying to please a god in the sky. True power isn't, even doing good deeds or anything like that. What true power is personal and collective actualization. And that means becoming the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, the most actualized, the most expressed version of yourself that you can possibly be, and creating a world society, and ultimately a universal society, not just a world society, but ultimately a universal society, that is the best possible universal society that it can possibly be. So it's about personal and collective actualization, fulfillment of what you are, taking what is potential and making it actual, making what is inside and externalizing it and bringing it out for the world to see and making it real rather than just a potentiality. That is what true power is. And how do we know this? We know this based on what reality is. It all comes down to ontology. We know that we are eternal mathematical minds, monadic minds, in a system, a collective system, the source. And so we are systems of mathematical frequency patterns that are continuously trying to optimize their own internal patterns into the most perfect pattern possible. And what this means, that's what we are ontologically, eternal systems of energy that are seeking to maximize its internal configurations to the best possible, most symmetric configuration. What that translates to is self-actualization, becoming the best possible you that you can possibly be, the best possible you can possibly be, and creating the best possible world that we can possibly create. Because the better the world, the better the individuals. The better the individuals, the better the world. It's a feedback loop, as above, so below. And so what we need to do is we have all manner of conflicts in the world because people are trying to maximize their power, but they don't know what power is. And that's why you get into all these conflicts. We have wars, people fighting over, well, is it about money? Is it about God? Is it about this, about that? So it's really important. It is critically important that we all understand what power is objectively, and so that we can take steps to actualize that power, all being on the same page. And that's what's necessary in this world that is so full of discordance and disarray and chaos, to begin to create a more harmonious world, and so that we can create the most powerful world. And so what I really want you guys to do is realize, okay, always remember that you need to have your intention and you need to have that will to overcome obstacles. But I want you to realize, don't feel like you're powerless. This world tries to make you feel powerless at every turn. Capitalism tells you you're nothing but a cog in a machine, a commodity to be bought and sold. Religion tells you you're worthless, dirty, flawed sinner. Scientific materialism says you're nothing but a collection of random atoms destined to die in the earth. No. BS. Realize that you are powerful. You are a system of eternal energy on its way to becoming God. You are a divine being whose purpose is to achieve apotheosis, to become a God, and for us to become a collective God. So never let this world make you feel powerless. Never let this world make you feel down. Because the truth is that you are divine with infinite potential, and your very purpose is to actualize that potential and make it known to the world, to everyone, to every entity in existence. So never feel powerless, never feel, but I know it's hard because this world, Nietzsche talks about this as well. That basically what happened is that you had a bunch of weak individuals who felt powerless themselves, and in order to make themselves try and feel more powerful, what they did was they turned weakness into a virtue. And this is why you're going to see this everywhere today. Guess what people do? They praise people for being humble and meek, and condemn, what do they condemn? They condemn pride. They condemn having a strong ego. Though the meek will inherit the earth. So weakness is praised. Now, there is nothing wrong with humility. There is nothing wrong with a quality like that. Nothing wrong with it at all. But there's a time and a place for everything. Remember, in Hyperianism, we are both light and dark. We are the sun and the eclipse. We are the star and the abyss. We combine all polarities. We don't deny one aspect or another. So there is nothing wrong with being powerful. There is nothing wrong in having pride in what you do. And of course, one should have and cultivate a very strong ego, a very strong sense of I. It's very important. It's critical. And of course, there's nothing wrong with being humble as well. When it is necessary, when there's a time and a place for it. And you also don't want pride to go out of control either, or else you become a psychopath. And you'll be a narcissistic psychopath. So it's not, again, remember, it's not like one is right, one is wrong. These are just elements that we have to be put into place when it calls for it. And yes, so this world at every turn will try and make you feel weak, lesser than, powerless, inconsequential. You're just, you hear this all the time. You're just a little speck in the universe. It doesn't matter. Nothing you do matters. You're just a little tiny blip in the universe. Bullshit! You are the center of the universe. Each and every one of us is the creator of this world, of this universe. We are the creators and the destroyers. We are the centers of the universe. We are the core on which everything, the entire universe itself, depends on us for its existence. Without us, there would be nothing. So, don't let this world make you feel powerless. You are the epitome of a system of energy seeking to actualize and maximize its power. So I know this world's, trying to get you down all the time, but don't. Don't feel down. Think about what you want to achieve. Understand what power is. It's self-actualization. Think about how best you want to go about actualizing yourself. Set that intention, and then inject your will, inject your power into it to go forward and achieve that and become the best version of yourself that you can possibly become. And then help us as a collective, the Hyperion community, to create a world, a collective world that is optimized to actualize the power of every single one of the citizens. And that is why we will create a society of the divine. That's what we mean when we will create a society of the divine. It's not the meek that shall inherit the earth. It is the powerful, the Hyperions, those who are higher, the divine, that shall create a new earth. And that's why it's our goal, to create new terra. Wow, so I got quite carried away there. Let me jump into the comments, say hello to you guys, see what's going on, see if there are any questions. But first, let me see. Oh, thank you to Dejaris for the awesome super chat. Thank you, Dejaris. You're awesome. Ellen Sophia. So nice to see you. Thank you for the super chat. And G1. Wow, big super chat from G1. Always good to see you, my friend. G1, thank you so much. Let's do Triscales in the chat. Triscales in the chat for G1. And let's do a color change for you, my friend. Color change for G1. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let me get the chat up because I was a bit distracted in my discussion there. River Woods, Timothy, Stefan, Tanya, Gail, Kevin, Philip, and Christopher, and Angie and Susan. Thank you for the stars. Let's see. Do we have those? Yes. We have the tri-scales in the chat going. Those are for you, G1. Thank you so much for that awesome super chat. I appreciate it. Big shout out to everyone who super chats. That's how I'm able to do my work. It means a lot to me. And please share this video if you're watching on Facebook. Oh, right. So, I'm back in the chat here. I want to see if there are any questions. Oh, you should be. I'm not sure why not. That's great, Alexis, but please don't spam, like Megan says. Tron Axis says, what godlike powers can we acquire? We can literally have the power to create universes. Now, of course, we're not going to get it, it's not going to happen tomorrow. That requires us to be collectively cooperative. So basically for us, like I've said before, Earth is a school for gods. I'm going to do a video about this. But we first need to optimize this world to be able to achieve godlike acts. We need to be on an extreme level of harmony. And right now the world isn't even in a level of harmony where we can have health care for everyone. We can't even agree on the fact that people need basic essentials to survive. Food, health care, a roof over their head. So humanity is not at the level of where they can be in such harmony where they can create, divine acts. We need to optimize and transform this world before that level can be achieved. Beetlejuice, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Beetlejuice says hashtag MMM. Hell yes. That's right, Shay Yates. Yes, Sujin says, since I am the universe, does it mean I can change what I see through my will? It doesn't mean you can think about levitating and you're going to start flying around the room. It means that you can change your world, the world by actualizing your will, by getting off your butt and actually going and doing something. The reason why you can't fly around the room just by thinking about it is because this world is not just your creation. This world is a creation of all of ours, and so we each contribute. We each have a frequency contribution to it, and so it is a collective creation, and therefore you can't. In a personal dream, you can alter things just by thinking about them because it's a personal creation. But this world is a collective creation, And so to alter things to that capacity requires collective cooperation between minds. Yes, that's right, Omega Lightning. Jordy, yes, also correct. And I have to say stuff like that because there's a lot of New Age BS out there. I can't tell you how many, New Age crap. They feel, oh yeah, sure, you can, once you achieve level 42 ascension, you'll be able to begin to levitate and, just concentrate and checks will start arriving in the mail. Oh my God, so much crap. That's why please don't get caught up in this in the New Age bullshit. Because it's just another dangerous mainstream religion. That, people are starting to realize that mainstream religion is BS. But New Age spirituality is just as dangerous.
Ow.
It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Uy, niya ba?
Levitate now, Poop says.
Huh? Oh. Ha? Diri biya to ha, nag-istorya biya ta ha.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but before I was a stunt performer,
ha?
I was actually a magician.
Kuan,
Not magic
11:30
magician, but like magic trick magician. This is when I was a teenager.
Ningon biya to, diri istorya biya mo.
I could levitate for you guys.
Karon manggud to.
I'm not going to do that. Don't start asking.
Mga tuta ha. Di ko maulaw kay ako may gagama sa tarpaulin din walay bayad. Sige, magulat ko nimo bantay ka.
Rudolph just says fuck you. Well, you're banned. Like, what do you expect? I don't get what these people expect. You've been banned. Like, why would you? What do you think's gonna happen? Vanessa says, how much can we achieve by visualizing? Well, it depends how much will you put into achieving what you're visualizing. So again, it's like if you're in a car, you want to visualize where you want to go. But if you don't turn on the car and start driving, you're not going to get there. It doesn't matter how much visualizing you do. So, yes, setting your attention, visualizing your goal is important. But if you just sit there and visualize 10 hours a day, it's going to do zero, zip, nada, niet, nothing. It will do nothing. It will do nothing unless you go and do something about it. So again, you need to have a goal. You need to set your intention. But you must actually work on achieving it. When I say will, I mean getting off your butt and doing something to make it happen. I don't mean thinking about it even harder. A lot of people will think that. Like, oh, that means I have to, like, really think of, no. Like, go do it. Go do it. Go do it. You want to, you want to be a successful artist? Well, you got to not just have that intention and visualize it. You need to paint every day. You need to, get good at, you need to know how to build a website. You need to contact galleries. You want to be a great musician. You have to, start contacting venues, doing shows, practicing day in, day out. In addition to having but if you just sit there all day, oh man, I'm gonna be such a great musician, and then you don't do shit, sorry, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. Sorry. I know a lot of New Age stuff will tell you otherwise, but no, sorry, they're just snake oil salesmen. And I'm not here to feed you BS. I'm here to and again, a lot of people don't like this because I'm telling you have to do work. A lot of people don't like that. Humans are lazy. They don't want to be, they take the path of least resistance. But that's why they'd rather have faith in God or believe in the universe to provide. Oh, I know it's going to happen. I saw 1111 today. I must be on the right track. I got a vision. I must be good. No. Sorry. Again, not unpopular opinion, but I want to help people become themselves. And it's perispera, arasta, through struggle to the stars, not through sitting on your ass to the stars. Let's see, who is this? Taylor Made. Thank you so much for that awesome super chat. Nice to see you, Taylor Made. Taylor says, the Ignavi bug me a lot. Is there any way they will change in this lifetime? I feel it's wrong to have contempt, but I can't help it. I understand. For those who don't know, in Hyperianism, the Ignavi are those who are the sleepwalkers. They don't understand what reality is, where they are. They're sort of like non-playing characters. Excuse me, NPCs in a game. They just kind of they're like in sleepwalking mode and zombie mode. And yes, I know they can be frustrating, and it can be very, very difficult. Yeah, I realize that. But the thing is to remember is that they're trapped, and we want to create a world in which they can be free, and this is why we need to create a new world and a collective world. So just try not to let them get to you so much. Reserve your anger for those who are evil. And again, words, when I say evil, you know what I mean. Reserve your anger towards those who are actively destroying the world. The Ignavi can be very, very difficult. I understand. Try not to let them get to you too much. I know that's hard. I know it's difficult. But they're imprisoned. They don't really know any better, and they don't really understand that they are, through their inaction, are aiding the negatives and the controllers of this world. So I understand. Cello Stone, thank you for the super chat. Cello Stone says, so about Hegel and Descartes. Just kidding. I love Hegel and Descartes. We can talk about Hegel and Descartes. I would love to. We needed to actually talk about the subject. I just want to thank you all for the inspiration you give us all in every live, my friend. I'm really happy to hear that. That means a lot. And that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. This world tries to drag you down. So here's the thing. I want to inspire you guys. I don't want to tell you it's going to be easy. I don't tell you that it's easy, but I want to inspire you. You are a fallen angel dragging yourself from hell to create the kingdom of God, your kingdom, our kingdom, here on earth. So it's not, we are dragging ourselves up from in the midst of hell. So it's not easy, but we have the power to do it. We are beings of shadow and light, and we are divine, and we shall overcome, and we shall triumph. So realize you have that power. Realize you have that fire. You have hell to actualize your potential. Use it. Use it. Use it as a transformative fire. Occult Candy Star, thank you for helping us wake. Thanks for the super chat. Sean says, just wondering how this is different than pick yourselves up by your bootstraps. It seems to have a lot of similarities. I'm not sure what you mean by pick yourself up by your bootstraps. If you could perhaps elaborate, I don't know what you mean by that. Chance, Jeremy, Ivy, thank you for the stars. And if you're watching on Facebook, please share this video. Angela, thank you for helping us wake the world. Thanks for the super chat, Angela. Angela says we need to talk about philosophy day. Well, yeah, I would like that. I would like that. I mean, we can talk about philosophy anytime, really. I mean, I guess, well, I don't know. It depends. It depends on the questions in the chat. I usually get questions about lizard people and stuff. So, but we had a lot of great questions today about Hegel. Descartes, it's awesome. Occult Candy Star, thank you for helping us wake up the world. Says you're a gem. You're welcome. Oh, that's very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Candy Star. are going to have a patrons-only secret live stream right after this. And in the secret live stream, I am going to be swallowing a sword. Oh yes, I don't do that very often. So if you've been wanting to support, the best way to support is on Patreon. So I'll put the link in the comments right now. You're going to get access to our weekly secret live streams, and I will be swallowing a sword. A patron has earned a signed and swallowed sword that I'll be sending to them. So that's the one we're going to be swallowing in the live stream. It's exciting. So now's a great time to support. And Charity Kai Kai, thank you for the stars. Let me see real quick here. Let me see if I need to give any shout outs. Just one sec. Yes, I see Anna, Maria, and Alex are our new patron supporters. Thank you guys. You're going to get access to our secret weekly live streams. Okay. Leslie Bishop says, what about those who are handicapped and most of the time can't get up and do something? Just curious. Well, that's a very good question. But the thing is that even if you are, differently able, it doesn't mean that you still have the capacity to actualize your power in some sense. Of course, if you are physically limited, there are going to be things that you can't do. Just like if we don't have wings, so it doesn't matter how much we want to go fly, we're not going to be able to. So if you are physically restricted from being able to do something, well, yes, there are certain things that you can't do. But no matter what your handicap is, you have the potential to actualize your power in some way and in some form. So there are just certain things that will be, limited by because of a life circumstance or what have you. But you'll be able to, if you don't have legs, that doesn't mean you can't be an amazing singer or an amazing philosopher or an amazing writer or take play or even engage in some sort of wheelchair Olympics or things like this. So even if you are limited in some capacity, you just need to find a different avenue to express your power. It's like you have power that wants to get out, and if one avenue is blocked, well, just find a different way to actualize it. Each and every one of you, doesn't matter what challenges you face or whatnot, some way you have an avenue to actualize your power. So if you don't know what that is, that's the part where you have to, that's where it comes to setting your intention. You need to find that thing. And that means you might need to do a lot of thinking, a lot of introspection, and a lot of trying things out. Try out different modalities of expression. Try out different modalities of actualization and see what it is for you. Then you apply your will to achieve it. So yeah, even if you're in a your life circumstances in a certain way, or you're differently abled, or anything like that, you have some way to actualize your power and to become a brilliant, unique, actualized individual. Miranda, you have unlocked loyalty badges. Nice to see you, Miranda. Welcome back, welcome back. Quello, thank you for helping us wake the world, says, how do we take better control of our unconscious? Every trick in the bag helps. Well, my friend, the unconscious is a very, very big place. So it depends on what aspect are you trying to take control of the unconscious. So the unconscious is, by definition, what you're unconscious of. So what you need to do is to become conscious of it. First, you have to become aware of its existence. You have to discover what its properties are, and then you have to figure out how to integrate it into your life. But it depends what you mean by taking control of the unconscious, because there are a lot, are you attempting to integrate one of yourselves, your shadow self, your mirror self, your power self? Are you trying to, utilize the power of the unconscious to help achieve goals or whatnot? It depends. It depends. if on topic we're talking about human being, thank you for helping us wake the world, you have unlocked loyalty badges. For those wondering, loyalty badges are pinned right up here at the top of the comments. What was I saying? Oh yes, so with regard to what we're talking about, you can, sorry, I'm just so many comments. Use your unconscious as a way to help set your intention. So, I did a video on void states. And so during a void state, at the end of void state, I always say that what you should do is visualize yourself achieving your goal. And the reason why you're doing this is because you're embedding this within your unconscious mind that this is something important to you. And you're reinforcing it. So when you're in a void state, you can focus on actualizing a goal of yours, an intention of yours. Now, this isn't magic. It's not just going to, again, if you visualize getting checks in the mail, you're not just going to get checks in the mail. That's not how it works. But what you're doing is that you're reinforcing that this is an important goal, and it is going to make it more prevalent in your mind so that you will begin to take steps to actualize it. If it's something that it's on your mind, if it's something that you are that you are constantly immersing yourself in, you will achieve it that much faster and that much quicker because you have told your unconscious that this is something that is important, that this is something that needs to be worked on, that this is something that because your unconscious will push you in one direction or another based on what it wants. And so basically what you want to do is try and communicate to your unconscious that your particular goal is important. More important, say, than binging Netflix or, eating potato chips on while you binge Netflix or whatever. So that your unconscious begins to work with you to achieve that goal rather than, because your unconscious will sometimes drag you away from a conscious goal. Why? Because a conscious goal can be hard, and your unconscious might be like, that's really difficult. Wouldn't you rather just rest right now? Wouldn't you rather just do whatever right now? So your unconscious can sabotage you. Your unconscious can sabotage you. It can secretly, it can affect you physically. It can make you super fatigued so that you're late for work, so that you get fired at your job, so that you have more time to rest. Your unconscious can sabotage you and screw with you. So, by doing a void state and visualizing your goal, you're trying to work with your unconscious and tell your unconscious what's important. And so you have this synchronization of the unconscious and you want your unconscious and consciousness to work together rather than being antagonistic. And so that's, again, it's not like magic. It's not just going to happen magically, like a lot of New Age systems will tell you. But it's powerful. It's powerful. Tron says, why does it do that? There are many different reasons why it can do that. So the unconscious so like the example that I gave you about, trying to get you fired from work. Because it might be, like, what if your work is giving you a lot of anxiety? Well, your unconscious is going to go, hey, I don't want, anxiety is not fun. We don't want anxiety. Let's not go to work anymore. So let me make you super fatigued so you miss your alarm and so you get fired from work, and now you have all the time you need to recover and rest and watch Netflix, So the thing to remember about your unconscious is, and this is another thing, again, I'm talking a lot about New Age stuff, but it's really important. A lot of New Age systems will try and tell you that it's like your unconscious is perfect. But it's not. Your unconscious and your consciousness are sort of in this system together in which they need each other to grow. Your unconscious generated your consciousness so that it can develop. And so it's not like your unconscious is this perfect godlike thing that is looking out for you and directing your life. Your unconscious is very, very powerful. It's extremely powerful. And it can be good and it can be bad. It's up to you. Your consciousness is the directing and the guiding function. So it's up to you to begin to work with these systems, these unconscious drives, to help actualize yourself. You know, just like all the different self, your shadow self, your mirror self, the power self, these are all part of archetypes of the unconscious. They can be extremely powerful, but they can also fuck with you. Like the shadow self. You can tap into your shadow self to have wild individuality, creativity, passion, and will, but it can also lead to addiction. It can also tear your life apart. So, you know, your unconscious isn't this like perfect angelic force that's guiding your life. No, your unconscious and your consciousness need to work together for optimal maximization. Wow, well, I'm a human being. Thanks for helping us wake up the world. And I'm glad that you are on your way to recovery. Let's see. Mary Saltzman, thank you for helping us wake the world. What is my view on Asperger's and how they could fit into Hyperionism? Now, first of all, I want to say, look, I am not an expert on this at all. Okay, this is something that I'm not an expert in. But, however, those who are on the autistic spectrum, while they may be different from the masses, they often excel at certain things. They may excel at mathematics. They may excel at understanding certain facts about the world and whatnot. So the thing is that everyone has strengths and everyone has deficiencies. So while those who are on the autistic spectrum may struggle to fit in with society in certain aspects, I mean, who doesn't? I mean, I do. I think many of us can relate to that. They can be extremely powerful in other aspects. So each one of us has something to actualize and something to express. So yeah, this is not, absolutely there is a place in Hyperianism because we all have something to contribute and bring to the world. And, it would be a really, really, really boring world if we were all exactly the same. If we were all exactly the same, the whole point of the holos is multiplicity. The whole point of the holos is variety. The whole point of the holos is manyness. So we are both one and many. So we always have to keep that in mind. It would be, a terribly boring place if there was no difference. And it would be a terrible, terrible, terrible place if there was just discordance and conflict. So remember, reality takes both aspects into account. So there's absolutely a place, 100%. Oh, Michelle, thank you for the stars. Angela and Shay and Lorena, thank you for the stars. Shay says thank you for helping to wake up the world. You're welcome, Shay. Darcy, thank you for helping us wake the world. Says, what are your thoughts on the practice of hypnosis to reprogram the unconscious? I think that can be very, very helpful. So if you're going to a licensed hypnotherapist, someone who knows how to work with the unconscious, I think that if that is something you try and you find it to be effective, I think it's a great thing to explore. Now, it's not something that works for everyone. Not everyone can be hypnotized. Not everyone can be It doesn't work for everyone. So when it comes to something like that, that's a very personal thing. If it works for you, go for it. I think you should try it. I think you should explore it and see if it benefits your life. Be very careful. Be sure that you 100% trust whoever is doing this, because basically what's happening is when you're going into a hypnotic state, basically what you're doing, okay, so basically your consciousness acts as a filter, and when you are entering into a suggestive or hypnotic state, what's happening is that you are removing that filter. It's kind of like a computer's firewall. So you are removing that filter, you are removing that firewall, and you're allowing the one who is putting you in that state to have access to your unconscious, where they can then, insert programs, commands, suggestions. And normally you'd have a filter up, and if someone gave you a suggestion, you would examine it with that filter and be like, do I want to allow this to happen? Should I allow this, etc. But when you're going to a hypnotic state, you're removing that filter, you're removing that firewall, and you're allowing the individual who's put you into that state to have access to your unconscious, where they can give suggestions. So, once again, doesn't work for everyone, but for some people it does. And if you find that it is helpful and beneficial to your life, I would explore it. It's definitely a very, very personal thing, where it's for some people and not for others. Oh, that's awesome. Justin Ashby, thank you. Says, yes, I'm so incredibly grateful to thank you for all this amazing knowledge and insight you share with us all through these videos. Thank you, Justin. That means a lot. You guys are awesome. You guys are great. Thanks. I can't tell you how many trolls and BS I get. Oh, you gotta see. If I just go, maybe one of these days through my live streams, we'll just go through my private messages and just maybe reply to some trolls or laugh at them or something. Oh my God, there are such people that are so hateful. It blows my mind. Blows my mind. And it's always from usually it's from mainstream religion. But man, so much hate. But you guys mean the world to me, and you guys are why I do what I do. So hearing stuff like that, thanks a lot. It means a lot. It means a lot. It means a lot. Universe, thank you for helping us wake the world. Says, I am struggling with my evolution. I feel like an alien in this world. Hey, I hear you, my friend. Really, the reason why that you feel like an alien in this world is why we feel like aliens in this world, because we have been alienated from this world. We are, look what it's basically like. I don't even know if I can say this, but I don't know. We are so different from the rest of the world that it's no wonder that we feel alienated. And I know that you feel like you're struggling. But the point is that through this community, we are here to come together to build you up, to build each other up, while the rest of the world is trying to drag you down. Because the rest of the world is at a lower frequency. They see someone like you who's at a higher frequency, they don't like that. They're going to try and pull you back down. And so it can feel like you have a backpack full of rocks on every day, because it's the rest of the world just pulling you down, dragging you down, trying to get you to be like them, trying to get you to be like one of the Ignali, trying to get you to be like one of the masses. But that's why this community is so important, because while the rest of the world is trying to drag you down, we are here to build you up and build each other up, and then eventually we will pull the rest of the world up with us. So I feel you there. I relate 100%. 100%, my friend. Julie Brown, Kali, Pavan, thank you for the stars. I'm glad, Angela. I love that, hearing that, Beetlejuice. I love everyone saying how much they've gained from the community and everything like that. See, that means the world to me. And we're just starting, guys. Like, we really have not been at this very long. We're just starting. Imagine when, right now we're just even doing this online. Imagine when we can start expanding into the real world, having locations all around the world. What are my lights going on? What are my lights going on? The blue light. Again, imagine when we'll be able to start expanding into the real world, having Hyperion collectives all around the world. Which really that's not that far off from doing this sort of thing. Gamer Blink says, what should I get first, the Path of Shadow or Ontological Mathematics? If you are new, I recommend the Path of Shadow. Ontological Mathematics is math heavy. So if you aren't really familiar with our philosophy or with our mathematics, the Path of Shadow is definitely a book to begin with. So begin with the Path of Shadow, and then I would say move on to ontological mathematics. There we go. That was bugging me. Remember, guys, very soon we're going to have a patrons-only secret live stream where I will be swallowing a sword. So if you want to support my work, that is the best way to do it. Link in the comments right now. We're going to have a supporters-only secret live stream. We're going to be swallowing a sword. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good. Make sure you're there. Monica Thomas says, I'm reading ontological mathematics now. Awesome. Greg Schramm says, where did the 7 billion people come from in the last few hundred years? A lot of sex, a lot of sex. That's where they came from, babies. Chris Christopher says, power in numbers. The sum total of people in groups is greater than their individual parts. Always happy to be a part of what we are all doing here with you. Very right, Chris Christopher. Yes, absolutely right. That's why we're about personal transformation and collective transformation. So yes, absolutely right. Ari Eternal, nice to see you. Finding the strength to reignite my interest in Hyperionism has helped me break through many intense issues of late. Thank you for all you do. Nice to see you, Ari. I'm glad to hear that. Hope you're doing well. What's going on says, I've never seen you give a logical answer of the existence of a starting point. Oh my goodness. How much have you watched of my work? Because that's kind of like what I talk about 90% of the time. 90% of the time I talk about this. Zero. Nothingness is the starting point. I'm not even gonna, that's all, I talk about that most of the time. Now we're starting to get questions about lizard people, guys. Please bring back the Descartes and Hegel questions. We're getting lizard people questions. Maru Juanita says, how will you know if the universe speaks to you? You/we are the universe. So the universe isn't going to speak to you, just like God isn't going to. So be careful not to get trapped in these new age ideas, thinking that the universe is going to speak to you. It's kind of like, oh, well, God's going to speak to me. So will the universe speak to you? I mean, yeah, kind of, but not in the way that it's you. It's you. It's a communication from the unconscious. So that's what your right hemisphere is tied into the source, is tied. That's your intuition. Your intuition is tied into this. So, you can have communications from your unconscious through dreams, through just random epiphanies in the shower, or what have you. This is something that can come at any time through psychedelics. Disclaimer: don't do anything illegal. But the thing to remember that it's you and it's us. It's not like this external thing, right? It's not like it's an external entity of some kind, like a creator god, or if it's from the universe, yes, it's from the universe, but that means it's from you, or slash from the source. It's not from some kind of external universe that's not you or us. It's all contained within us, within you, within us. So that's the important thing to remember. But you can get these intuitive flashes anytime. But it's important, as I've talked about before, check out my video on should you trust your intuition. You always have to filter it with logic and reason. Because just because you get an intuition doesn't mean it's true. You can get intuitions that are wrong. You can get intuitions that are incorrect. So it always has to be guided through logic and reason. Christopher Wilson says, the first live stream I made it to. Yay, happy to be here. I'm happy that you are here, Christopher Wilson. If you haven't subscribed, guys, please hit the subscribe button. Christopher says, I do get much insight while driving to job projects. Yeah, that's because when you're driving, you are kind of in like an unconscious sort of sleepwalking state. It's kind of like sleepwalking. Julian James talks about this in his book, Bicameral Mind, where when you're driving, you are in an unconscious state that's very much like sleepwalking. So yeah, that can be a very, very intuitive state. It's when you're doing these things. That's why it happens in the shower, because it's like when you're driving, you're on autopilot. It's unconscious. Your unconscious is taking control. And again, like when you're showering, you do the same movements over and over. So it's just, or even like if you're a master pianist, someone who plays the piano, you're doing that unconsciously. You've done it so much that it's become unconscious. You're not thinking, oh, I need to press A, then B, then C, then E flat, then D. No, you're not thinking that consciously. It's just happening unconsciously. So yes, they can be very intuitive states. Did you miss anything on the apocryphal texts? No, nothing on the. We're not. No, don't worry, my friend. We'll probably in a. We're not doing those right away. Perhaps in a week or so. Perhaps in a week or two, maybe we'll be looking at the apocryphon, the apocryphal texts. The dude says, are you surprised that most of your haters come from Facebook? No, I'm not really. The reason why is because our reach is huge on Facebook. Last time I checked, we have 930,000 followers on Facebook. So because our reach is so big, which is fantastic, it just means that, you're going to get, the ratio is just there. You're just going to get a lot more haters because more people are seeing it. It's going to make more people angry. So trolls, the more trolls you get, it's the more influence you have, the more reach you have. So trolls are annoying. They're a pain in the ass, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It shows that we are ruffling feathers. It shows that we are having an impact. If everyone loves what you have to say, you probably don't have anything important to say. So trolls troll because we are challenging their reality tunnel, and it puts them in a psychologically uncomfortable position, and so they retaliate. They want to attack and eliminate that which is causing them cognitive dissonance and psychological discomfort. Morning Sonia says, but you sound offended. Well, yeah, because just because I get trolls doesn't mean I can't still call them out. I mean, it's like that thing. If you're being you don't want to just be a meek little. No, I'm gonna say something. There's nothing wrong with saying something. I'm gonna defend myself. I'm gonna say fuck you. You know, I'm gonna ban them. It's it's not. I mean, of course I'm going to. I mean, what? I'm not just gonna like take it. Human Being says, can we have mods for the Facebook page? Eventually, I would like to, but I don't know how possible that is. Because I'm not a gaming channel, right? So I go live on Facebook. Hi, Facebook. Please share if you're watching on Facebook, which I know a lot of you are. I see you there, Facebook people. Hi. Because I'm on Facebook, but I'm not a gaming channel, I don't have a lot of features. Like I can't have a chat bot, and mods work differently. So I'm hoping that Facebook at some point will roll out all live stream features to people who aren't even just gamers. Or maybe I'll just start playing some fucking games every now and then so I can get the features. I don't know. But yeah, it's annoying. Hi, Dwayne Lucas. Hi, Holly Taylor. John Pierre, I didn't see your tattoo. What's your tattoo? Thanks, Philip. No, I do not, Robert Green. Nathan Pack says, Morgan, you should have a thing set up where we can talk to you personally and ask you questions. I have been considering doing such a thing. Yeah, I've been considering doing that. I might do that in the future. Because I want to make these more interactive. These streams more interactive. I mean, they're already freaking interactive, but I want to make them even more so. So yeah, that's something I've been considering doing. I think that would be cool. Katrina says, I can just see you playing Minecraft. Hyperion Minecraft. Let's build the Minecraft Nutera. Yeah. Yeah, Epsilon Blue. I have been. That's actually been on my mind. That's something that it's on my mind. I think could be really cool. Yeah, I have been considering that. Doing having some Hyperions come live with me. I think that could be cool. So yeah, that's something I have been. Yeah, well, yeah, you guys, we're on the same page. It's been on my mind. I think it could be really cool. All right, guys, we need to have our secret live stream. Shout out to Daniel Houghton and Lucy Rodriguez, just became patrons. You're going to get access to our secret live stream. We're going to have our secret live stream in just a few minutes, okay? I'm going to be swallowing a sword during our secret live stream. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. Make sure that you are there, okay? If you want, it's the best way to support my work. Link is in the comments right now. To support on Patreon, you'll get access to our secret weekly live stream, and it's the best way to support my work. The reason why it's the best way to support my work is because there's a lot of censorship and a lot of deplatforming on Facebook and YouTube and social media in general. So Facebook or YouTube, and just over to YouTube and subscribing. It helps a lot. So, I want to give a shout out to everyone who supported today, especially G1. G1 is our top super chatter today. So big shout out to everyone who super chats, everyone who gives stars. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. And if you can't support monetarily, don't feel bad. I understand. So if you can't, but you still want to support, guess how you can support totally free by just liking and sharing this video. So if you want, share this video right now, and most importantly, come on over to YouTube and hit subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. So if you go, I want to support your work, that's how you can do it, and it's totally free. And also hit the bell to turn on all notifications. I can't tell you how much that helps with the algorithms. Travis Liu and Timothy Kemp, thank you for the stars. So we are going to have our secret live stream where I will be swallowing a sword right now. I want to give a shout out to our moderators. We have Rowan, we have Megan, we have Susan in the house. They're amazing, and they make sure that we can have a productive comment here, productive discussion here. They're awesome. So big shout out to our moderators for always doing an awesome job. Quello, thank you for helping us wake up the world. Says the bicameral mind, if we could harness it fully, who knows feats of the body and intellect we could achieve impossible in conventional thinking. Yeah, we could get that. Get the conscious and the unconscious working together. That is the path to apotheosis. Brianna, you have unlocked loyalty badges. Okay, let's see. All right, are we good? Are we good? I think we are good here, my friends. I will see you all in the secret live stream. Everyone else, I will see you on Monday for our next our next public live stream will be on Monday. Someone just got banned. All right, so good to see you guys. Remember, you have the power. Don't let this world drag you down, because we're here to go to the stars. See you soon, my friends. Hail New Terra.
And gets the food.
What's the significance of getting 70% and not 100%?
Oh, because there's some noise, and we are using, at that time, we are using just one channel transmission. We are using a poor channel communication because we had no idea what would happen. But the interesting thing is that there's a caveat in this experiment that got us thinking much deeper than we thought in the beginning. The first guy is getting reward on a bar press, but we decided to create a bonus to the first guy. So if the second gets right, the first guy gets a bonus, gets extra food. So this guy said, okay, I like that bonus. I'm from New York, I work in the financial district. I love my bonus, you know. I'm willing to do all sorts of crazy things for that bonus. No, they're not rats. I didn't say that.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, we're not guilty of that. Well, in any event, what happened is, the first guy does it, but this guy, for whatever reason, the second one gets a mistake, doesn't get correct. What we noticed, that instantaneously in the next trial, the first guy, he slows down the movement and makes it, the brain signal to noise higher, almost like saying, can you get it now, idiot? Because I want that extra reward. And the second rat invariably get it right. And he get it right for several trials because he got the idea. So after a few trials, the first guy selects again. He does very quick and his brain to noise goes down, seeing whether the second guy can get it done. And there was the kind of adaptation that we didn't predict. There was some non-linear adaptation. And the second one is that the brain of the second guy, the decoder, the neurons there not only now respond to the body parts of the animal, but also to the touches of the body parts of the first animal. So two bodies are represented in one brain.
Okay.
So that was unpredicted. We had no idea about that.
All right. Well, and in all of these cases, the animals have stuff sticking through their skulls.
Tiny stuff, yeah.
Okay, you're merciful, but there's
yes.
you've got to go inside.
About 2.5 millimeters, yes.
Okay, because the reason I'm bringing that up, I want to move down to your two colleagues now from Washington State, Chantel and Andrea. And first of all, you two work together in the same lab, but you know each other pretty well, right?
Yeah, we met a few times. We met here in New York, actually, 9 years ago.
How long have you been married?
7.
So you work all day in the lab and you see each other in the house the rest of the time?
Yeah, we keep working.
Yeah.
And we work all night at the house.
Okay.
Sometimes.
So I'm curious, very briefly from each of you, just a little biographically, how you got into the field in the first place, Chantel.
Sure. Well, one thing I'll say about how I met Andrea, this might surprise you all, but we don't get out much, scientists, so it's very convenient when you have a tall, dark, and handsome Italian man working down the hall from you at Carnegie Mellon, and the rest is history, as it were. I actually started pre-med at UC San Diego, and I was really deep into these accelerated pre-med classes, and I had to take one social science class. I had one social science.
I've gotten some crazy comments. I've gotten some good ones too. But basically what I've done is throughout the past couple weeks, I have saved and screenshotted these comments so that I could answer them and look at them with you right now. But I have completely forgotten what it was that I've taken a screenshot of. I don't remember them at all. So we're going to look at them right now. And I'll probably save a bonus one for the end that's probably going to be pretty weird, so make sure you stick around for that. We're going to do this right now. Oh yeah, also make sure that you subscribe, because if you're watching this, you know, you've probably been watching me for a while, and you should subscribe. I'm pretty awesome. So do it. Let's begin. Alright, here's a really good question actually. Morg, I hope you read this. Hi, I am. I have a question. If the universe is cyclical, will it be the same exact universe over and over again? Will I return in my current form of who I am forever and live my life repeatedly for eternity? Or is it something entirely new each time? Also, this channel is underrated as fuck. Stuff like this needs billions of views. I agree. Good question. So in Hyperianism, we know that the universe is cyclical. That means at the end of this universal cycle, a new Big Bang will occur, and then a new universe will be generated. So this occurs over and over and over again. There are eternal universal cycles. So what this person is asking is basically, is each universal cycle going to be exactly the same? Is this person going to live their exact same life over again and again in each iteration of a universal cycle? This is a really good question, and this is actually something that Friedrich Nietzsche talked about in his idea of eternal recurrence. This idea that the universe will continuously repeat itself, but in the exact same way. So that yes, you would live the same life over and over again. Is that true in Hyperianism though? Well, before I answer that, I want to read this great quote by Friedrich Nietzsche exactly on this topic. Nietzsche writes, "What if some day or night a demon were to steal after you into your loneliest loneliness and say to you, 'This life as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more and innumerable times more, and there will be nothing new in it, but every pain and every joy and every thought and sigh and everything unutterable, small or great in your life, will have to return to you all in the same succession and sequence. Would you not throw yourself down and gnash your teeth and curse the demon who spoke thus? Or have you once experienced a tremendous moment when you would have answered him, 'You are a god, and never have I heard anything more divine'?" It's an interesting thing to think about. I mean, if you had to live your current life over and over again, would it be so boring and plain that you would curse the demon and gnash your teeth? Or would it be wonderful because your life is exhilarating? It's an interesting thing to think about, and the idea here is you should make this life so interesting. You know, don't fear or hold back. put your all into life, so that if you had to live it over again, it would be something amazing. But the question is, does this happen in Hyperianism? Do we have to live the same cycle, the same life over and over again? And the answer is no, we don't. Thank goodness. That would be pretty boring. But what basically happens is, think about the building blocks of reality. Okay, reality is composed of frequencies, sinusoidal waveforms. And to metaphorically get a grasp on this, think of them as being like letters. You can combine letters in different ways to make words, and then you can combine those words together to make a story. And depending on how you arrange those words, you can make a completely different story. So, existence and the universe is like a story. And this iteration is like reading that story. And at the end, we'll get to the end and start a new book. But, of course, that new story will be filled with a completely different arrangements of words, so it'll be a completely unique story. Just like in the universe, it'll be a completely fresh and new arrangement of sinusoidal patterns, so it'll be a completely new experience. So basically what this means is that universal cycles, you can kind of understand them like stories or books. They will end, we'll finish a story, and start a new one, but it will be a completely new story because we can arrange those patterns into a new experience. Great question. Let's take a look at more. Pregnant with twins. Does that mean one comes from heaven and one comes from hell? Yes. Yes, definitely. Congratulations. Please do not destroy the world with your gender reveal. Cyborg people, look and listen closely. Cyborg alert, C-Y-B-O-R-G. Oh my God, they're on to me. God damn it. That must explain why I'm so obsessed with logic and reason. It's because I'm a cyborg. I'm a robotic antichrist false prophet, apparently. God is alive. God is alive. God is alive. Great video. I agree with your analysis. There's a lot of toxic information that goes unchecked in the New Age spiritualist community because it claims to be outside any dogmatic religion. But with your focus on individual empowerment and enlightenment, why do you also have the focus on the remaking of the world? Work on oneself and collective revolution seems universes apart. Well, the fact is that working on oneself and the collective are not universes apart. They are inextricably linked together. They are bound together. That's why I emphasize that we need to have the avatar, monadic, and absolute or Braxian perspective. The avatar perspective is you as an individual in a body, and then the monadic perspective is you as an eternal mind outside of space and time, and then the absolute or Braxian perspective is us as eternal nodes of the absolute or Braxis. So what this means is that my evolution is ultimately bound up with your evolution, that we are all linked together and linked to the universe. We can all solve our individual code, our individual solution by sort of, thinking of yourself as a Rubik's Cube solving itself, but the fact is that we're in a collective system. So you can imagine that as a Rubik's Cube of Rubik's Cubes. So that means that ultimately, since we're all linked together and nodes of the absolute, for the absolute to come online, we have to work together. And that's why, once you reach a certain level, you become really focused on helping others grow as well, because you realize that we're all mirrors reflecting into each other, and your success is my success. And to really think about this too, think about when we create a world society, a collective society that is working in harmony, that will allow you to actualize so much faster. Because instead of having to work a mind-numbing 9-to-5 job and worry about rent and if you have enough food on the table, instead of having to worry about all that bullshit, you'll be able to focus on yourself and your actualization. So we need a collective, a world that is focused on raising its citizens up to the level of divinity. So we are creating a society of the divine. It's all about the individual and the collective. It's not about one or the other. It's not just about the collective, and it's not just about the individual. We are collective made up of individuals. The absolute is a cosmic mind made up of individual monadic nodes. So, our evolution is bound up together. For us to evolve and grow, it necessarily entails both individual and collective evolution. I've been having a small problem. I'm producing Reiki energy without even trying lately. My hands emit such a powerful heat that I'm worried I might melt my mouse and keyboard. Hey, I know what you mean. I have the exact same problem. Oh, fuck, shit. My mom told me that story of Abraham when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I asked if she would kill me if God asked, and she said yes. That was the first time I thought that Christianity wasn't okay. Maybe that was the moment that saved me from indoctrination. Hey, I totally feel you. So the story of Abraham is, God telling Abraham to take his son Isaac up to kill Isaac for God as a sacrifice. And, in Christianity, that's taught as being a fantastic story, that Abraham's faith is an exemplar, a model to be followed. And hey, I completely understand. It's crazy. I remember my parents never said, oh, we would kill you if God said to, but I remember my mother saying, oh wow, if God told that to me, I don't know if I could do it. Like actually considering the possibility. Yes, so I feel your pain, and I'm glad that you escaped that dangerous indoctrination. Okay, you guys got to hear this comment. Since we're on the topic of religion, here's a comment from a religious individual. So he knows the real God exists because he feels it after he masturbates. Oh, okay. This is too much stupidity. The real God never said to swallow any sword to have a good life on earth and be immortal in paradise. All God said is to accept Jesus as Lord. Do not swallow a sword, even a Gillette blade, for crying out loud. Look, I agree, don't swallow a sword. I'm not telling anyone to swallow swords. I'm saying, I don't know. Swallowing swords is dangerous, don't do it. Anyway, death is not the end, he said. It is true, death is not the end for these people when they die while sincerely following this cult. Their death will not be the end because their end is in hell, where they will be burning for a long, long, long time while being eaten by undying worms. Where is this fact from? The Bible. Oh my God, this keeps going on and on. Hold on. This is too good. Where is this cult's fact from? From the heads of these satanic people who are fully blinded by the devil himself, the father of lies, Satan. If you are awake and are listening to your soul, you will see that these black and white and red, scary, creepy looking videos and pictures and their costumes, you will clearly see they are emitting so much negativity. If you do not see and understand any of what I plainly said, be very scared, because you are already trapped by this cult. You are already blinded by the devil, who assigns demons to humans as a guide to sin over and over. If you want to get out, talk to Jesus and tell him to get you out. Otherwise, you will be eaten alive by these Satanists, or you will be eaten alive literally. Wait, did you not know that guy with long hair is a self-proclaimed murderer? And he also said that he is a witch. If you still did not know, murder is evil and witchcraft is evil. Hey, I didn't kill anybody. I don't know. What the hell? Alright, so apparently you better repent to Jesus, or else I'm going to eat you. I'm going to cannibalize you. So watch out. Also, I just want to point out that it's not our evil satanic cult that has cannibalism. It's Christianity. I mean, think about that next time you eat the flesh and drink the blood of Christ during communion. Okay? Oh man, that was a weird one. Is it just younger people that can be Hyperion? Sorry if this is a stupid question. I'm just new here, but I like what you talk about. The reason I ask is that I'm a 48-year-old trans woman and I have never fit in. No, that's not a stupid question at all. You can be Hyperion at any age. We have a huge age range of people. It doesn't matter if you're, 20 or 120. Who cares? Age is just a number. It doesn't matter at all. And we're completely accepting long as you put logic and reason first and are very aware of what it is that we're about, yeah, of course, you are more than welcome. And great question. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed that. There were some good questions and some really crazy ones as well. Let me know which one was your favorite in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Tell me. Make sure you subscribe. Help us wake up the world. And big shout out to all my Patreon supporters. Consider supporting on Patreon. You get access to our weekly secret live streams. Oh, hey, but wait. Bonus question. Let's take a look. What are your thoughts on the moon being a gathering of clouds and the Earth's core exploding and the Earth becoming the next sun and the moon the next Earth? Well, how would the moon be the next Earth if it's a gathering of clouds and... You know what? Yes, absolutely. 100%. And you know what? Party on the moon. I'll bring the wine. I'll see you guys there. Bye-bye. God is alive. It's happened. I can't believe it. I have been debunked. It's true. My God. Ah, shit. These are my tears, if you can't tell. Oh, I'm just devastated by this. I can't believe that this has happened. It's all over. I've been debunked and Hyperianism exposed. So there's this website called Rational Wiki that seems to be run by skeptics that try to debunk and expose conspiracy theories and things like this. And I wasn't really aware of it until someone a while ago sent me some messages about, oh my God, you have to see, they have an article on Hyperianism. They're exposing Hyperianism. And what I want to do is take a look at this with you, because yes, they're trying to expose me and Hyperianism, but oh my God, it's so stupid. It's ridiculous. So we're going to go through it, we're going to read it, we're going to go point by point, and take a look at me exposed. Oh, that sounds erotic. Future video. Alright, here it is. Hyperianism. I'm excited, aren't you? Let's see. Hyperianism is a crazy New Age belief system. Now, first of all, no, we're not. I make so many videos about how we're against New Age spirituality, we're against faith and mysticism, and you can just go to my channel, take a look at all the videos. One of them's called The 5 Spiritual Lies You've Been Told. We are against New Age spirituality. Okay, let's see. That was just not even the first sentence, but let's keep going. Hyperianism is a crazy New Age belief system created by some person, that's me, who goes by the name Morg. Really. They put really in parentheses. I'm sorry, whoever wrote this, Bob, Sally, or Karen, if having an interesting name is just mind-blowing to you. We're all about destroying norms and being very self-actualized and expressed individuals. So yeah, guess what? That includes being able to choose a name, being able to create yourself. So sorry if that just blows the mind of the dull, gray masses, but we are here to shine. So right away, apparently to this person, because I have an interesting name that's degrading to my credibility. Let's continue. So, goes by the name Morg, who claim to have come into contact with secret societies that reveal the means to bring timeless knowledge to the public so that the world can reach the next step of evolution and become whole. If that seems hopelessly vague to you, that's because it definitely is. If the concept of the next step of evolution strikes you at nonsense, I think they meant as nonsense. Under the context of the theory of evolution and
Nagasabot
natural
man
selection,
siguro mo,
that is
no?
because it is actually
Nasabot mo, no?
nonsense under the context of the theory of evolution and natural selection.
Kuya Juan.
Right, by the way.
Hala, ha?
Competition there.
Ha?
Morph argues that material reality
Niya,
is a
mga
myth,
11
that
helmet
exists
extra
in a
Ramon?
shared
Ha?
dream in which one can
helmet dira,
manipulate
para
and
dira ito
control
yung helmet.
with some seeming
Ano man?
godlike abilities
Ang
that
taas ng
Hyperions share. Hyperianism
Mag-helmet
gives
di ay,
all
bisag
the major
tag-imar, ha?
flags that it is an attempt to establish
Kita
a
pala
cult.
tagpulis.
Alright, let's take a
Apa?
oh my god, so much to say here. So there's so much wrong with this, it's hard to know where to begin, but let's see. So when it comes to the secret society thing, look, on my channel, we talk about Rosicrucianism.
Manhi man daw to skuan, ahaman to.
The Pythagorean
Lahat-
Mathematics. We read
Gahatod man daw to
material
sa iyahang
from, all these different
Lutyon.
sources. And look, that's
Wala man ni
totally
ano
up to
eh.
you. If you want to believe, I don't care if you are interested in secret societies or not, or where this information arises in history. None of that really matters, right? It doesn't matter if it's coming from a secret society or an old man or a teenager or an alien reptile or an angel. Who cares? Right? Just look at the information itself. None of that, you can choose to believe these things or not. Doesn't matter when it comes to the actual information. And then, yes, we do say that you can reach the next step of evolution. This is teleological evolution. It is compatible with evolution. The only difference is it's evolution with a goal. There is a direction to it. Instead of it just being completely random, it's evolution towards the maximization of power. So we are 100% compatible with evolution, but not random evolution, teleological evolution. Now, they're talking about saying that material reality is a myth. That's their word for it. It's sort of a strange choice of words. But yes, material reality is an illusion in that it's not made up of dead, lifeless matter. It is a Fourier transform of mind. This is the position
Unsa na imong
of philosophy known
clip-claps?
as idealism, and it's been
Dako na
championed
kay
by some of the
kagwarta?
greatest minds throughout history.
Ha? 8 pa?
Including Hegel
Oo.
and Leibniz,
Imuha, pilas na
who
imuha.
was the
Na wala na kay
inventor
ko
of the
nagkuan,
inventor of
oy.
calculus.
Ipa-scroll ba dong
So
kuan?
this is not some,
Kinitik scroll mo
crazy
sa to.
stance.
Lagi,
This
lagi.
is a stance that has,
While
like I
ka
said,
kuan
been
ka,
championed by some of the
mag-refresh man
greatest
namon
minds
10 seconds
throughout
naman
history,
sa
and
nakataas
which
13
the discoveries of
Lagi,
quantum
nagkuan lagi ko
mechanics
atong
points to
clip-claps.
by showing that all of reality is based on
Ambot pila na
waves.
akong
And then finally, about us being able to shape this world. Yes, we can shape this world.
Pwede
It
nimong
doesn't mean
isa,
that
o,
we're
na
going to be able to
nakiklik ka sa isa,
levitate,
i-repaira lang
blocks
isa.
with our mind and shoot
Dato na
laser
yaw.
beams out of our
Obi
eyes,
akong
which it
gibuhat.
seems like
Wala
this
ni mo
person is
gi-withdraw to
kind of
imong
trying to
one?
say. No. Look,
Wala,
when
no.
we have a collective
Kato ng
Change
point
man
one,
niya,
point
mo
10.
kani, ma-trade man nimo kani yung
O
toys.
lagi, 10,000 is $1. Kana siya, kuan ra, $0.35.
Equivalent to
16 pesos. O lagi.
Everything that's occurring in the world right now is shaped by the ideas held
Wala
in
ka gaboy isda
individuals'
mo.
minds. The whole idea is that we can
Naaman
change
siguro,
this
pero wala
world
ko
nalagi kay
while
Coin
getting
Planet
on the
mo,
same
no? Para
page
na siguro mas
and
bagong user.
collectively channeling our will
Saman.
together to
Coin Planet, wala
create
mo
a
ko na
better
game.
society. Not by
Hindi,
like
hindi.
flying around like Superman and making things levitate, which it seems like this person is trying to say. This is just a
Salabot
huge
siya ni, oh.
straw man fallacy.
Sin.
They don't know what Hyperianism is about at all, and
I-update siguro na ko totoo.
making wild claims here. But let's keep going. Morg is a
0.5
shop
ra.
artist who performed at the Venice
0.5.
Beach Freak Show in Southern California before closing reality show. Relatively in Orange County. Information, just the first bio that they found. But yes, that's me. Hello, nice to meet you. Let's continue. Forces of shadow and light. Hyperianism claims if you are unhappy, it is because you are fractured and not whole. And the means to become whole is to understand the
Wala
forces
lagi
of
ni
shadow
scroll
and
ni
light
Mamon.
that exist within you.
Naaman.
The forces are apparently actually just one force known as the force of life or something. And to deny either aspect of this force will make you depressed or some shit. That's what they said. Once
Manhi
again,
matus
if this sounds
labli
like
ron.
nonsense to you,
Ganhe?
that's because
Manhi
it
to
is.
ron.
Well, they clearly don't know what they're talking about. I mean, how more obvious can it get? Look at what they're writing.
Kuya, lagi ng
Known as the
cellphone mo
force
no,
of
kadi na mga
life or
permission no.
something.
Kung magamit og
And to
net
deny
scroll.
this aspect will make you depressed or some shit.
Mga man.
Obviously,
Ako
they don't
manggi
understand
kuan,
Hyperion.
allow.
You
Adi
can
ba
tell
kadang ay
they're
allow ang
actually
kanang
admitting
paggamit niya ba
in this article by their choice of
Ha?
words
sa settings bitaw.
that they don't
Sa di,
know
wala ko
what
ka kuan.
Kanang sayang
Hyperionism
perform
is. You see
gesture
how crazy
na
this
sa
is?
cellphone.
They are admitting
Ang
through
bibo kay
their
Lahiman.
choices of
Oo.
words
Oo.
that they don't know what Hyperionism is at all.
Hindi na nako ganahan ani kay magamit kog camera, dili siya mag-flashlight bitaw gaana ra kanunay ang ayan. Kaninoon mo nindot.
You have to know
Pero okay man
about
pala
the
siya
subject
camera.
that you're talking about in order to get
Tuig
the
naman
critique
mo no
of it.
pagpalit
And
mo.
clearly,
Oh.
as admitted by the writing style,
Isa na
the
batama.
force of life or something, and
Taga
people make
maikay.
you depressed or some shit. Do you see how really just
Kanina man akong last ko anon
this
din.
concept of the force of
Mag-prepare na
life
din.
leads to another idea known
Magkuha na
as the
din ko,
shadow self.
mag-release na
The
ko kay-
article itself
Sasa man imo
tucked
kuno yung hard
away
drive.
to meet the demands and pressures of society. You can
Hard
think of
drive or
the
hard
shadow
disk?
self as the
Hard drive, hard
repressed
disk, maura man
or
na.
authentic self. The concept of the shadow self isn't entirely original, as Carl
Kani mo
Jung
gold
used the
misyo mo no
exact
kini
same
niya mo no
name
kini
and
niya no
description
casino no.
to
Naay
define
gold.
one of the aspects
gold.
of the
Pero dili siya
unconscious
for
mind.
pure.
Yeah, no shit. Nowhere have we ever claimed that the idea of the shadow self is original.
So
This
ikipagagama
is
sa iyang gold no.
psychology. And yes, your shadow self is made up of your repressed psychological contents, the parts of you that were repressed as you were growing up because society told you that they were unacceptable. This is an idea by Carl Jung and is incredibly powerful. In our system, we talk about integrating the shadow self, the mirror self, and the power self, which is incredibly important to having a well-integrated
Maura
psyche.
na siya.
This is psychoanalysis. It's nothing
Yes, ang managing ko wala ko kuan.
it's
Pwede na ko
psychology.
magliwaliw.
Hyperionism uses this aspect of the shadow self to
Sama
get
naman
into
ni
letting
Pink,
loose
tarpaulin,
on your
di po na
weird
naman.
or kinky side. And of course,
Manang
other
tarpaulin,
debauched and
ano, nara-
hedonistic aspects of
Nang
oneself,
lisensa.
as if the red flags for a cult weren't already waving vigorously enough. So this world puts a huge stigma on sexuality. It makes you feel bad. It makes people ashamed of being who they are and expressing themselves in any manner, be that sexually or otherwise. And yeah, so in Hyperionism, we say that you should express your
33rd,
sexuality
yeah,
and be free
33rd
to
mo naman.
explore
33rd
these
iyahang
things,
tatay.
because
March
that's
2
how
ang
you
birthday.
become
Kani
more
siya
healthy and
first
find out about yourself. As long
birthday
as
niya
everything
March
is
3.
consensual,
So
say
ito
don't
mo
worry.
sila.
But if you
Iusa ra sa
don't,
isa ka tarpaulin.
this gets repressed into your shadow self and can lead to a huge amount of problems, including addiction and violent outbursts. Many, many issues can come from repressing content into your
Dayon,
shadow self.
mag-print
So
ko
yeah, this
atong
world
kang
needs
lovely.
sexual freedom. This world needs sexual
Alam,
liberation.
tingnan mo na.
There's nothing
Ha, magpaalot ka
wrong
ron?
with that.
Mga to sa kaoy.
Again, should be common sense. Look at all these awful religions that
Ipis
tell
man
you
nga
that
Lord, kanang mura ba
sexuality
kumanan
is
po
dirty
sundalo ka.
and sinful. Well, guess what? How's that been working out? Not so good. All the atrocities committed by the church are, and attest to that. So yes, you should be free to be able to explore yourself, your world, your sexuality, and not feel ashamed to do so. I know, radical idea, right? I don't know why this person writing this article seems to have a problem with it. Perhaps they need to be laid. They seem a little uptight. That could help relieve some tension, perhaps. So just to reiterate, we are 100% for you being able to express yourself, however that may be, including sexually. As long as, of course, everyone is being safe and consensual and you're not harming yourself or the collective, be free to explore yourself, each other, and the world.
Unsa man?
Rejection of materialism. What shouldn't be surprising to the topic of this article is that Hyperionism rejects scientism and their belief that reality is in fact material. The argument they provide to refute materialism Why, a bad understanding of quantum mechanics, of course,
Naminyo
coupled
daw
with
po
some
rin
New
yan,
Age style Cartesian dualism and
Burikat
non-math.
magutos kuan.
Wait, seriously?
Burikat magutos buhol.
Hyperions don't believe
Matagbo,
reality to be
magutog mga-
material. They believe it to
mga
be made
afam
up of
sa-
mathematical frequency patterns.
Kaya ba mga
Something
turista?
that is somewhat vaguely correct and not even wrong.
Burikat na siya, oy.
How does that contradict materialism? It doesn't, though what it means for reality is quite the head scratcher. Alright, this is so stupid. They say coupled with some New Age style Cartesian dualism. We are against Cartesian dualism.
Ako lagi siyang
Dualism
gihadlok.
is false. So basically what dualism says is
Mingon
that
naman
there
siya
is
buyag.
mind and that there is also matter. This is a fallacious position because it has what's known as the interaction problem. If mind and matter are two separate
Oh,
substances,
katugong
then there is no means for
GKMJS
which
nga mga
they
kuan.
may interact. We
Paano
are
mga laki
a
yung
cases.
mga dagko kig dala.
non-dualist
Pero inject
system.
uso bitaw na
An
inject mo kana
idealist
bitang
system
kuan
says
mo.
that all
Oh.
is ultimately mind,
Oh.
and we define
Ganyan
mind
ang
as
daot
being
na, no?
mathematical frequency.
Ang uban nga
So we say
daot, ang uban
mathematical reality,
wala
a
mamipon.
mental reality.
Kung
And
mabasa-
how
Ikato day si
does
Jiring, murag
mind
nalata man daw iya
manifest as
haato.
matter?
Amo tong
Through an
katong-
ontological Fourier transform. A Fourier
Kapitan sa upper-
transform
ah,
is a
upper
mathematical
centro lagi.
operation that
Gapatupok
transforms
sa kuan.
frequency information
Oh,
into
kuan man daw
space
to.
and
Petroleum
or
jelly?
time
Nagpa-petroleum
information. So
jelly.
we can take frequency
Yan na lang atong
information
gikuan.
and transform it
Kita
into a space-time representation.
Nalata
via
na
a
mangukuno
Fourier
iya,
transform.
ha?
This is
Pagkuan sa
not a
embalsamador.
Cartesian dualism,
Ingon ang
but
Ang
it
iyahang
is a
utin kay nalata
mathematical
na.
idealism, saying that all of
Di-
reality
ulaw
is
baya.
mind based on
Ulaw baya,
mathematical
magpatambal,
frequency and
unyon
can be
ato.
transformed
Namukalat
via
ang istorya,
a
no?
mathematical operation known as a
Oo
Fourier transform, frequency information into a space-time
Ay pagkatumar
representation.
na sa vitamin
Whoever wrote this
ginana
article,
ano?
Karen,
Isa nang
apparently,
inject nimo.
has absolutely
Mao.
no idea what Hyperianism is or what quantum mechanics is.
Mag-try na lang atong
Hyperianism
pahid-pahid
can show
lang.
this is a reality, a
Kung effective ba
mathematical
jud?
reality based on frequency.
How
And
effective
this
is
perfectly
pahid-pahid.
compatible with what we
Isa atong
see in
i-inject
quantum
yun.
mechanics. Quantum mechanics has destroyed absolutely the classical
akong gamon,
conception of matter. The classical conception of matter
Cupcake
is
toppings
impossible.
o
So
giveaway
today's
tags.
scientific materialists are 100% baffled by the discoveries of quantum mechanics like wave-particle duality and entanglement. They have no idea how this could possibly work and still be compatible with materialism. Well, it's because it's not compatible with materialism. All these things are easily explained once we replace matter with mathematical
Cupcake
mind. You
toppings.
see, wave-particle
Okay na lang.
duality is
1
easily
inch.
shown to be a particle
Gamay na
following its
kaayo.
wave trajectory.
Ah, 1
In
Para sa
other words,
dilibot
it's a
ang mo.
particle following its
Sa
mental
cupcake,
inner programming, its
1.5.
inner mental
Oh.
mathematical properties. And as well, quantum
1.5
entanglement is easily
1.5.
understood when you know that this is a non-local reality. What does that mean?
Kani
It means that
cupcake
ultimately
toppings.
distance is an illusion, just like
Kani
a dream.
siya
This is
sa
all happening in the mind. So when you're in a dream world,
giveaway.
it seems like there's distance, but there really isn't. Same thing with the objective world. It's all taking place
Uy,
within
nga naman
mind. Distance is ultimately
Negative
an
man.
illusion, and at the heart of everything is the source singularity of mind, the frequency domain, and everything is instantaneously connected and doesn't require traveling from point A to B. This is how instantaneous action at a distance is possible. Anyway, all these things that I've mentioned are explained in detail in other videos on my channel and in my written work as well. So looking at what this person wrote, it's clear that they don't understand
Paminawa galing
Hyperion. I
iyahang
mean, they
kuan.
basically said that they don't get it in their article. So if you don't understand it, how can you write about it? It's
Ang Satan
ridiculous.
manggod,
Now, I'm looking at what
imbintura
they wrote,
manggod na sa
and
mga
to me, it's pretty
nagkuha sa
obvious
Biblia.
that the only thing
It's
that
not
they've
true,
done
dili
is
manggod na
watched a
tinuod.
couple of my videos and read
Unang
our
unang
free
maminaw ko
free
niya
pack.
kay muuyon
So
manggud ko
this is
sa
about
iyahang
business. This was like 20
iyahang
20
view
pages
nga
long. It's a
every
free,
entity
pamphlet
na adyo'y
on
negative and
Hyperion. So
positive
basically they read this and
qualities.
watched a couple of my
Ako di man
videos
kumutuwa
and then
ng
thought that
God
they
nga
could write,
kuan, God nga
a refutation
puro good.
of it.
Na
Which
siya'y
is
bad,
absolutely
oy.
crazy. Can you
Na
imagine
siya'y bad,
if
na
we
ay
were trying to,
bad
let's
qualities,
say,
na ay good
refute
qualities.
materialism
Mixture
like
manggod
we
ta,
do,
di manggod
but
ka
you only
mag-exist
read
kung kuan ra
20
pure
pages about
pure
it. So
good
this
ra
is
pure
a-
bad.
Oh,
Wala
man,
man.
a very
Imbintura man
poorly
ng
written
satan-satan.
article. This person clearly
Kaya
doesn't
bisan ako
know
sa akong kinabuhi
anything
nga
about
naabot ko og
Hyperionism
katong
or
na-depress
quantum
tayo ko.
mechanics for that
Nanawag di
matter.
akong demonyo.
And if they did, they
Oh.
would know that we are
Nanawag kog
100%
demonyo, oy. Aron
against
matabangan ko.
faith
Wa
and
man, wa may
mysticism
nilugwa.
and belief,
Wa may
and that we
nilugwa.
are for
Unang makuan
logic,
ko.
reason, and
Pero kana siya ngayon paminawon sa mga open-minded ko. Pero kung close-minded ka, hala sige. Padayon sa imong pagka close-minded. Open-minded manggug ko.
That are very bad at researching and writing things. So there you have it. I debunked the debunkers. So don't worry. No, we're not debunked. I think we're pretty good here. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video.
Para sa iyaha kay kuan
Comment, share,
manggug ka
subscribe, do all the shit.
kanang
Let me
kita
know in the
tanan
comments what
na
you
ay
thought of this.
ang
If you
universe
love me,
yun na ay
if you
usa
hate
ka
me, I
mind.
don't care. Tell
Kita
me.
tanan collective ta sa
See
isa
you
ka
next time.
mind. Mo biya nang kanang magdamgot ta murag makita na to ang ubang tawo nga wala ta kakita. Ma-meet na to didto kay connected man gud ta sa usa ka mind pero naalang tay individuality. Dayon mura bag katong itong kita ka to movie nga Avatar, mura bag ingon ato nga kani atong lawas.
Gura sa ano mara sa yung
Oh, nga kani atong lawas kuan ra kanang murag mura ra og sanina sa mura ra bag sanina nga ang ato ang mind mo sulod didto, mo suot, mo na siya, mo na iyang explanation.
Hello everyone, and welcome.
Tinuod ay gid pud na nga katong mga libro nga gipang sunog sa una kay ang Biblia mga gipalaganap jud. Tinuod man na siya. Ako gani atong pagka
And I was actually planning on
atong
talking about
nag-research
something
ko
else
about
today, but
naunsa
it really hit me
naunsa
that this
nabuo
is
ang
something we
Bible
need to
kuan man
discuss
ko
because
kanang
I hear this
dayon
coming from
dayon
a
sila ra
lot
mo'y
of
gabot-buot nga mao na ang
people,
Biblia na ana
I
din
think that
katong
a lot
mga
of
libro
people
nga ilang
are
gipang
very
sunog basig mas
confused
mao
as
pa to'y
to
tinuod.
why they have
Muna
this
akong
feeling.
kuan, muna akong view.
And
Dili
the
man ko
problem
kuan.
is that since you're locked, you're trolled, you're ostracized, it often feels like a
Ako kung
negative thing.
kung kuan pa lang
And
yun nga
if you,
kanang
you know,
Bible kuan
look up videos
daghan na kay
about this
nganong
on
manggiaway
YouTube
man
or
sila bi
something, or trying to
Ikaw,
help
pwede
on
nga
this,
ka
it's
mag-cover
going
ka
to be
mag-Bible mo ka
people trying to
mao gani
tell you
ubi
how
na
you
akong
can fit in,
mao na akong
how to
view
fit
nga
in with
kuan
society,
kanang
how to
ang
make
ako alang
friends
kay
and all these sort of things.
considering nga
Well,
mao
I need
naman
to
ang
tell
ilang
you that
paniniwala
the
okay
reason
go
that
on
you
pero
feel like you don't fit in is
sana
actually
magpakabuti
a
ka
good thing.
kanang
It's an incredibly
be your
positive thing.
better self kay
You see,
kay
this world is a very sick
Oh.
place. It's a backwards place. It's a disgusting place.
Kay oo
So why would you want to fit in
ang Bible man gud gihimo
with
man gud
something
na
like that?
para
Why would you want to fit in
ang usa ka
with something that
nasod
is
ma-conquer
broken?
nila mo
I mean,
mo gini
you
purpose
would have
na
to
kay
be broken too
dayon ko
to
jud kanang
fit
kung
into
imuha
something
yung
like that.
lantawon jud as ikaw
You see,
ang kalibutan
you
tan-awa gali
feel
ang
like you
kalibutan
don't
di ba
fit in
ang kalibutan wala
you're
gihimo para
obvious.
budget lang
But the
ang
problem is
kalibutan
this
wala
world
gihimo para sa mga
is a
Bible
factory
believers ra
for
mo diya
churning
nga
out
na matawo nga
clones
bungi na
and
matawo nga
drones.
lahi ug
All
kuan
set on
na
the
strange
default
siya ug
factory
lawas
setting
ana-ana
to
ang mga
carry
Bible
out
ang mga
a
Bible believers
certain
moingon dayon nga ay
life
demonyo
pattern.
man na siya
But you
diba kung
aren't
unsay
part of
strange
that.
sa ilaha demonyo dayon
You aren't one of
kung
the
unsay
factory
nilad ug
models. And
itsura
you aren't built
demonyo
for
dayon ang ilkuan
following
nila
out that
which is
default
kung
pattern.
ikaw sa imong pagkatao di ba dili
And
ka dapat
because
mo
of
ingon
that,
ana kay
This
sala ba
world
dayon
looks
na
at
niya
you
nga
like you're crazy.
ni
But of course it's not you.
exist siya diri aning kalibutan na
It's
din
in
ana
this
iyang
crazy
itsura
world.
ana iyang lawas
And
dili
when
baya
the world is a mental asylum, it's close for us sane.
oo then
It will be
tungod
thought of
mahadlok
as
pud ta kay
crazy.
tungod sa kanang
So the whole point
ilahang
of
gipanulat sa una nga ingon ana
what we're
di brand
going to be talking
di
about
brand
today
brand na dahil
is
nila pa
discussing
ingon
the
ana
different reasons
dayon
why
na
you feel like you don't
which
fit
is
in,
kung imo biyang
and how it's
kung
not
imo
a
biyang
good thing,
i-explore
and
kay
that
mas
you don't
maayo
need
pa biyang
to.
batasan ang mga ngilado
No, I'm sorry. How that it is a good thing. It is a good thing that you don't fit in, and you
oo
don't
mas
need
maayog
to
batasan ang
try
mga
and
ngilado na wong oy
break yourself to try and fit.
kung mag open-minded
No.
lang ka
Rather,
dili
it's
lang ka
about
mo judge ba
understanding
ako
that you don't
pag-abot
like
ng
this
mga
world.
Bible believer
You don't
maingon
fit
man
in
ko
with
nga
this world
oh
because
let's
you,
just
we,
coexist kana bang
are here
sige
to
mag
create
mamuhay ka nga
a
Bible
new
believer ka
world.
mamuhay ko nga
You see, the
yun ani
true,
ko pero dili ko manghilabot
pioneers
ninyo
and
oy
trailblazers,
dili ko mo ingon nga patyon
they
tamo
weren't
kay lahi
satisfied
kag
with how the
tinuohan
world
ako
is.
dili let's coexist
If
oh
you were satisfied
let's
with how the
live
world is,
peacefully let's coexist
nothing would
kay
ever change.
mao gid ni ang kalibutan
It would all stay the
digid
same.
nato na
It would be
mapugnan nga
stagnant
nagay matawo nga lain
and
lain
unmoving.
itsura lain nato lain ana
But on the
wala
contrary,
kay kung ang kalibutan
we are not
para lang sa
satisfied
Bible exist dapat
with how
sana ang natawo tanan puro
world
mga
is. We have the eyes to see.
naka-conform sa Biblia.
And so we will
Una.
be the trailblazers
Oo.
on the front
Dagan
lines,
man kuan.
carving a path for a new world.
Oh, ako di man
We
ko
aren't
makuha na
happy
ng
with
ayos.
this time,
Panapi man kay
because we were built for another
Uli ka
time,
muhatag sa ilamon.
panapi man kay ng INC.
future time.
Kasulod ka ana dahil kung ma-absent pa ka kuan ana ma-absent ka og simba kay kuan na ay penalty man good. Murag eskwelahan na ay fine. Oo.
Akong observe sa kanino kay sila maayo mo daw.
Oh.
And we have a lot
Kadugayan
Nako dili ko in IC. Nakuan man ko na
kapuhin ko kadugayan mo kay marag kuan imong personal link ka nang kuan papason kay birth certificate kuan
Oo.
detalye. Unsa may purpose nila?
submission lagi kailangan mo submit kanila.
Nila
Kung sa
na
ilang
ipagpahulga ng ilamon.
ana mo gini ila.
Post kanila membro kaniya so dali ra kay magsesab kay nagpass mo ka dito.
Oo, muna ingon na muna kuan nila.
Mo ba nang mga membro
because
dito
it's
ra
flipped
kayo?
and inverted, suddenly you
Na ako kay dili man ko kuan dili man bahala mo diha oy.
but it's not.
Ako
It's
kinakita
not.
nagigilis yung uy.
Dako kaayo kana day labi mag-eleksyon di ay.
Kana bitaw mo simba ka kinanglan minimum nimo
Here to
20 pesos.
transform the world.
Oh.
Ihalad
hell
20
it
pesos nya 20 pesos sa isa ka simba niya kada sa isa ka simana kadagan sila magsimba.
Mo lagi na nga kanang relihiyon panapi man gud na di man ko kuan ana.
Lagi bitaw mo kay nganong mandapit man sila tao. Then pagka inig ma-membro na
Kay kuan to spread the word lagi ko no mo na ilaha.
Nagkas bitaw ko
abot.
Sagdan na din mo ka muhatag og dili.
Mo na ako og naimo anhi diri na akong pastor maingon jud ko nabasa na nako ang Biblia tibuok Biblia dili lang sa paghinambog kay bisan magarig Harry Potter nga perting baga apila na ka libro nabasa na pud nako na nabasa na akong Biblia dayon syempre naman po koy salabutan nga kuan dayon alangan man og maminaw ko sa pagkasabot sa uban di syempre maminaw jud ko sa akong pagsabot dayon ako nay bahala kung maluwas ba ko o dili kay mao man ay gibutang diha sa Biblia di kabalo na ko kay kung mag-discuss ta karon kabalo na ko nga ang inyong tubag puro Biblia na ako kay mo question man gyud ko maminaw na lang ko ninyo unsa po inyong grounds kay kanang relihiyon panapi manggudna anaon magud ako diri oh
Nakakog kita sila.
anaon magud ako panapi magud ang relihiyon
Bitaw mo no.
Very, very within
Napit ang
our
mga
community.
testimony na mo
But
kinang
what is
para
the
doon ni
common
kuan mo no nga niadto daw siya dito. Nga kana ko
thread,
si
the common
Jan
theme
Pundaw.
that
Na
is
impierno
uniting
kay
us
ano
together?
ko sa impierno
I got-
to kigi
Is
panapi
that
niya
Ilang
na.
go ra man
all the
gud
different
to.
sort of
Ha?
Katura man tong
subcultures
nag-near death
were offered to
experience
us?
siya.
Si kuan ba si
Words are
karo
not.
taga
Maybe you
Equator
were
bitaw
part of the
Ecuador
scientific
si
community, but you saw the cracks in it. You saw the cracks in materialism. You saw that there was something wrong.
Murag
There wasn't
near death
something
experience
quite
ra man gud ko
there.
siya. Actually ang atong anggong mind kay mo create man gud og mga
Maybe you were part of the spiritual
hallucinations.
community, but you saw that
create sa
there was something
dimension
wrong
mo
with
no.
it.
Oo,
kuan na dito.
mauna din mo to imo ring makita ngayon
There was
ana
something-
pero
there was something off
kuan
about
ra
it.
man tugod mura ra man gud to siya
Maybe you
presentation
were part
mura ra
of,
to
of the
kuan
Lucas
which
community.
is
Maybe you were
dili
part of
pwedeng
an artistic
pwedeng tinuod
community.
pwedeng
Whatever
dili
community you were part of,
Loy lang
common-
pa mo sa
common
mga
thread, common
mangina
theme
yung
is that
pagsabot
there's
no.
something
Di madalag yun.
missing.
Tayo ka na metag digit pag
It's
puno
not
sa
enough.
mga pasito.
o dili mo ras
bitaw.
dili mo reason kanang kung sa ihungit mo
But it's not a
kuan
bad
lang
thing.
ko
It's not
dayon
because you're broken. It's because you see more.
7 times
It's
5
you see
45
more
35.
35 wala na jud akong math
those in that community do. It's not sufficient. It's
Kuan mo
not
gawan
enough.
mo verbal na
Leonardo
mga
da
gad,
Vinci
di na kay ka
said
magkuyot.
that learn how to
Kani
see,
siya
realizing
kay-
everything
sa galing
connects
eh.
to everything else. And
toppings
we are those who know how to
Dayon.
see.
wa ko kasabot sa kuan ni Lovely
And that's why
basig
we
25 ra ni
have this
kung
new
35
community.
ni siya bawasan ako ni og pulo
Fractured,
Sa din
right? It's
giingon
not
din mo.
fractured. It's not
50
all
man gud
these
iyang
other
giingon
subcommunities,
50
they're very
ka.
fractured.
Tanan.
basig tag
We
20
incorporate all of
25
them
ang
together,
kuan.
but on a higher
Tawagan ang
plane.
tanong mo mon.
You see, our community, Hyperianism,
Nagahulat
isn't
gali
just
ko
for
niya.
artists, or it's not just for spiritualists, or it's not just for
1 2 3
No, it's for
25
all,
murag na busy na
but
to ba
those
Klaro.
who have the eyes to see that there's something more,
boy
that it all connects
Boy.
together. Like that quote.
karon
Learn how to
mon oy
see.
no
See how
problem
everything connects
bali
to everything
50 na
else.
lang tanan
That
mo
art,
thanks kay
philosophy,
amulo katon
science,
ugma
spiritual-
natin katura god
Well,
nakabeting
all
sot
these
nga way
things
sulat
aren't
din
enough
Happy
because
first
there's something
birthday.
higher
Thanks for
that
coming. Thanks.
synthesizes them all
Wala.
together that goes
Ako.
above and beyond.
cake ugma amo lang
These
hapiton
little
man
pieces,
ha
these
thanks ayo
fractures,
sa
these tiny
tap nindot ayo man love
Partial reality tunnels aren't enough.
kato nabating sot Ko,
it
naaman
almost
papel
grand
diha ka ng
interconnecting
specialty
web that
pod
connects
kung
together.
nakaprint mas maayo.
But the thing is, we feel like we don't fit
Kamay basa na niya mo?
into
Dili oy igagaw magud mi. Manghod kay na nako.
communities.
Gagaw mi ana
Why
sa
that is
Barrientos.
because we are here to create a new community.
Dahil ang
A higher
papatiknisan mo na mo, no?
conscious community.
Si Kuan, ang kulmuron.
Logic, reason, and
Kuan man na.
into a practicing
Mga yuhay man nagmotor.
We have
technician
so much
pod,
to talk about,
kanang
right? Don't
electronics,
get into it,
oo.
but one of the things
Makakuan
that
ka
I
sa
want
laptop mo?
to say about this is
Murag dili siya
that this
kuan ang
can
laptop
make
kay
you feel very
mga daan nga
isolated.
technician
You
di
feel
man
like
kabalog
there's
laptop,
something wrong with
computer.
you. It can lead to
Ang mga bag-o
social
noon.
anxiety and depression and loneliness
Ako sa
because you feel
nag-i-friend.
very ostracized.
Dayon.
And the important thing to remember is
Daghan
that
na siguro
there
yung
is
25
nothing
ko
wrong
kung
with you.
kung
There is
50
nothing wrong
unsa
with
di
you.
iyang
You
25
are
na lang to.
lagi
simply
unsa di iyang bisita
built
ko
for
an
another time. You are a trailblazer. And trailblazers are always looked at very strange. Friedrich Nietzsche said, and those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music. That's very often. We are the ones that can hear the music. We are the dancers.
Balik
that
wala
are
mga bata kay
mocked
kana magud ako
because they
paminawon.
can't hear the
Kay
music.
ug naa sila na puro mga
We can
kabuang
hear the
ang
Pythagorean music
lantawon.
of the spheres. But as I was saying, this can lead you to feel like you're insane if you're not aware of this. This is why I want to tell you. We see you. We see you. And we can hear the music as well.
Mamakaw sa day.
And we know that you're not insane. And this is what this community is. It's about shooting up
Mamakal.
those flares
Tagima.
in the sky, saying, here we are, gathered together. We are building this new community right here and right now. We're the only ones, guys. It's us. This is us. We are the trailblazers for that new world. It's right here. It's right now. So don't feel too down. Feel excited. Feel empowered because you are a part of history in the making. You are part of planting the seeds for a new world, for a new future.
Ha? Si Rodel
Now, one thing that I want to say that's sort of interesting about this is that, again, it can feel very, very strange. I am very comfortable public speaking, right? I can go up on stage and do a performance, whatever, that's fine. But when I'm in, say, one-on-one situations or small group settings, when it's people that are sort of part of the normal world, the average world, the mundane world, it's sad that we call it, even call it normal. It's very, I feel very odd, and it's not because I'm, people say like social anxiety, like, oh, it's almost like you're afraid. It's not that, for me at least, it's not that I'm afraid, it's that I don't have the ability to understand how to interact with people who are in that world. Because it's hard for me to know how, like, what are things that people talk about. So it's very interesting, just to give you guys kind of an idea. If I'm in a setting like this, it's almost like I have to run a human program. And so I run this like human simulation, being like, oh, okay, what is it that people talk about? Yes, Netflix, or what's popular music, or, so I can't just say what I'm thinking, because they wouldn't understand, right? The things that we think
1,
about,
2, 3,
the
4.
average person, the things that we
9,
think
10,
about
11,
all day, every day, the average person
Wireless
never
siya
even
mo
reflects
or
on for a moment.
wired?
So it can be very difficult because you
Pwedeng
can't
wired,
just start talking
wired.
about these
Pwede
things.
siya
I mean, you
wireless.
can if you want. I mean, I highly
Pwedeng
encourage
wireless,
that you
pwedeng
do.
wired.
You'll open people's mind. But there are certain times where it just may not be appropriate. So it's almost like I have to run this sort of human simulation, being like, what would a person talk about? And so, it's almost like it's not just moving freely. You're running this human simulation, and then it's like, oh no, it's been too long. They've said something. I'm supposed to say something now. Quick, what's a pop culture reference? And you ever see that meme where it's an older guy dressed up as a high schooler, and he's like trying to pretend he's a kid, and it says like, hello fellow kids. That's how I often feel. It's like, hello fellow humans, as you're trying to sort of figure out how they interact. That's my experience. Yeah, so here's the meme that I'm talking about. This guy's going, how do you do, fellow kids? I don't even know what this is from, but he's obviously, he's trying to pretend that he's fitting in. That's how I feel dealing with the general population. How do you do, fellow humans? Which can be, again. But the thing to remember is that there's not something wrong with you. There is an issue with the world. And so you should never feel like that there is. So, yeah, she will says persona. It is. It's that persona that is created to try and interact in the world. But the thing is, we always must remember that we are not our personas. And we do. We realize that. That's why we feel very strange wearing that fake mask, because we know it's a fake mask. But many people identify with it. They think that they are that fake mask. They don't understand that there's something more. We understand that we are something more. Not only do we know that we're not that fake persona, but we know that we're not the ego either, and we know that we have the monadic perspective. We have the higher self perspective. So we are many steps removed. The idea to remember is that, look, I want you to know that we yearn for a community. We yearn from a community. We need others. Now, I want you to remember our different perspectives, right? Avatar, monadic, and Abraxian. From the monadic perspective, you are complete. You are an eternal, individual, eternal mind. You are complete. You aren't missing anything, right? You are a system of a complete set of mathematics. However, from the Abraxian perspective, the perspective of all of us taken together as one, we need each other. We need that community because we are created. I'm sorry, we're not created, but our purpose is for actualizing ourselves and actualizing the collective. That's what we do. That is what is embedded in our coding, to actualize ourselves and actualize the collective. So as individuals, we are complete, and we are working on optimizing ourselves. We don't need anything external as individuals, but from the collective perspective, from the Abraxian perspective, yes, we are that one mind that's coming to know itself through itself, and we are all nodes, and we yearn for that community, and we yearn for
immunity, your priority. Don't worry, stop, it's a hyperacidity. You can burn it up with Fernsey. In fairness, Fernsey
can come online, so to speak. And in an analogous way, that's what we yearn for. So I want you to think of us kind of like puzzle pieces. And we feel very lonely because puzzle pieces have holes. And we have that sort of empty feeling. Why do we have that empty feeling? Because we want a community. We want to be able to have that interaction with others where we are vibing with each other, we're on the same frequency, and we're evolving and growing and learning together. The philosopher Hegel said we all yearn for recognition. And what does he mean by recognition? Well, we all yearn for recognition by me looking at you and seeing myself reflected in you as the universe. And we all reflect into each other and see each other for who we really are. And that's why we feel that emptiness and loneliness, because we don't get that recognition from others. Other people just see us as bodies. That's it, just bodies. But we all yearn for recognition, but we don't get that recognition from this world. We need that recognition. Me reflecting into you, and you reflecting into me, and all of us reflecting into each other like a grand hall of mirrors, and getting that recognition. I am you, you are me, we are each other, we are the universe, we are reality, and let's be on this journey together. Let's build a new world together. Let's fly higher than others together. Let's see the world for what it is. That's another amazing quote by Nietzsche. Well, what is that quote? The higher we soar, the smaller we appear to those who cannot fly. The higher we soar, the smaller we appear to those who cannot fly. We seem very small and strange and weird to those who cannot fly, but to us we're ascending to new heights, and we see things that others cannot see. And again, we yearn for that recognition. So we're like those puzzle pieces, but we don't fit into the puzzle of the world today because they don't offer that recognition. The recognition, that reflection that we yearn for. We don't get that in the puzzle of today's society. We only get that by connecting with others who also have that mindset, because they lack the capability. The world can't give us that recognition because it doesn't see it. They're blind. They don't see the you reflected in me, and the universe reflected in you and each other. They don't see that, so they can't provide the recognition, so we don't get satisfied. And we always feel very, very strange. And that's why it is like we are these puzzle pieces, and we're yearning for these pieces to connect together into something higher. And that feeling, that emptiness, it's not Jesus, it's not, nothing can, it's not religion, it's not money, it's not, no. What that is us being these beings who are embedded with purpose for individual actualization and collective actualization, but unable to get that today in this world. And this is why this community is so important, because we are building that right here and right now. This is it. This is where it's at. There's no other community that offers this. We are the ones that have the eyes to see and thus can offer that recognition. And we can actually look and reflect into one another. Finally, this is here. This is why we are literally a new step of evolution. We are a new plane of consciousness right here and right now. We are the pioneers. So don't feel negative. Don't feel bad. Don't feel ostracized. Feel excited. Feel empowered, and realize that you are a part of history in the making. You are a part of building that community. You are one of those that have seen out this world doesn't offer what I want. So I'm going to be a trailblazer, and we are the trailblazers, and we are building that new city, that new kingdom, where we can finally have a world that offers that true recognition on that level of consciousness, that Abraxian level of consciousness. So the world, so here's the thing, the world puts us in these patterns for us to follow out. Again, it's like a factory setting. It's a factory model. It's a factory producing clones and drones, and everyone has the same pattern. It's, go to school, get married, have kids, have barbecues on the weekend, and then die. And it's this pattern that everyone follows out. And you're looked at very, very strange if you deviate from that pattern, or you want a different pattern, or you at least want something more. There's nothing wrong with doing those things, of course, but you must go higher than that and do more than that. When most people, that's all they ever do, and they live out these pre-programmed lives, and everyone is living the same pre-packaged life. They're all following the same pattern. We, however, break from that pattern, which is why we are looked at as something strange. We are outliers. In mathematics, this is known as being an outlier. What is an outlier? Here is a real simple example. If you take a look at this graph, you can see all the points following along this line, and then you have the outlier that's not. It's deviating from the pattern. And here you can see you can consider this a life trajectory. Everyone following out the same prepackaged, mundane, factory model life. We, however, are the outliers. We break from that pattern. We don't follow the flock. And so we are looked at as something strange. We are looked at as outcasts. But outliers aren't something negative. See, what we are doing is we want to form something new, a pattern that offers so much more. We are autonomous individuals. They are forging a new way, and that's why we are looked at as something strange. And what we're doing is we are planting seeds for a new future. We are planting seeds for a new world. And those of you that have found us, it's highly likely that in a past life that seeds were planted in your life. Maybe you came across material, right? Maybe you came across esoteric material or philosophical material, or someone introduced you to certain things, and that seed was planted in you in a past life, and now in the life that you're living now, you have found us and you've come across this material, and it reawakens something in you. And it can often feel like, instead of learning something new, that you're remembering. It can feel like you're remembering, that it's awakening something in you that has always been there, but has just been dormant. The philosopher Plato thought that all learning was really just remembering. And so you are finding this material, and it feels like this awakening, and it feels like this something dormant has become alive. And what I really want you guys to understand about this, and how exciting this is that what we are doing right now is going out and planting the seeds for the future. We are planting seeds for a new world, to awaken in others that feeling that you have, right? That was ideas that were originally dormant in you but became awakened. And we are here planting seeds. We are if you feel like you don't fit in, if you feel isolated, if you feel like an outcast, switch that perspective and get excited and realize you aren't an outcast, you are an outlier with us, the other outliers, forging a new path and a new way forward, planting new seeds for a new world and a new consciousness, so the world may step into that Abraxian consciousness. Ryan Morgan says, I've had a therapist tell me that I was born during the wrong time because of how I feel about this shitty world. It's not that you were born into a wrong time, my friend. It was that you're here to create a new time. You're here to help us step into the future. Yes, this is a shitty world and a shitty time, but we are the shapers of the future. We are the ones who will forge a new future. Imagine if we weren't here. Imagine if we weren't here to do this. The world would be fucked. We are here to see that, if no one sees how shitty the world is, it will remain a shit stain. We are here to clean this place up and build something beautiful, to transmute base metal into gold, into a shining diamond, into the glory of the cosmos. Kermidius says, we came here right on time. Yes. That's precisely right. And I realize it can be a struggle, and it can feel alienated. You can also often feel like a time traveler. Like you sort of feel like you're in an old time, in an old world. I get that feeling very often. I feel like I'm living in the past. Because in a certain sense, we are living in the past. Metaphorically speaking, of course. But we are living in an old, outdated time. That's why things can feel very sluggish, slow, obsolete, ineffective, because it's outdated, and we are here to bring in a new time. Crystal Sanborn, thank you for helping us wake up the world, says, thank you, Mark, for creating this wonderful community. I finally feel as if I can relate to like minds. Yes, thank you for being a part of our community and helping it to grow. Thank you for helping us create this garden into something even more beautiful. Anne-Marie Crystal Thelen, thank you for helping us wake up the world, says, I always remember that statistical outliers affect the trend line more than the normal values. Very interesting. Very interesting. And I bet, looking at that pattern, you remember the outlier more as well. It's stands out, it sticks out, it's something new, it's something different, it's not part of the old. And it's about embracing that, whereas the rest of the world makes fun of it because they don't understand it. But soon, they will be extinct, they will be left in the past. Chinoy says, I feel much better now. So happy to hear that. That's very true. CO says there is blood family and there is soul family. And blood family can often, not always, but often be a negative influence. Often your biological family doesn't see eye to eye with you and will try to change you and they'll try to force you to fit that pattern. Oh, when are you getting married? Oh, how much money are you making? Oh, what do you, why are you spending so much time reading and doing whatever it is that you do? How come you're not out at our barbecues or whatever, right? You can see that this is not always the case. If you have a supportive blood family, biological family, that's wonderful. But very often, very, very, very often, they can be a negative factor. But the soul family, very, very important point. Soul family, that's what we are. The monadic family, the soul family. And we are those puzzle pieces that are fitting together. And as those puzzle pieces fit together and we reflect into each other and see each other and have that mutual self-recognition, the universe awakens through us. That's the consciousness of the universe awakening. That's the Abraxian perspective. That's the awakening of the great I. That's the opening of the great I. That is us. That is what we are. We are here. We are it. We are the new consciousness for a new world. I know I get excited about this, but I want you guys to be excited about this. Don't let the world make you feel like shit when you are a diamond. This world treats diamonds like shit and shit like diamonds. You are a diamond. So shine and reflect with the rest of us. We will create a glittering diamond field. An interconnected diamond net. It's all reflecting and creating something.
Immunity is your priority. The world is now but the hyperacidity. You can burn it up with Francie. In fairness, Francie
says, I'm more than shine, I blaze. I love that attitude. I love that attitude. I'm more than shine, I blaze. Love it. Love that. Blaze. Blaze like a fiery star, a blazing star. Blaze through this world. Blaze through this world. Be a trailblazer for a new world. That's awesome. So Christopher says, I have an open-minded Christian believer friend that I've been showing her your videos and trying to help her understand. She has questions. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And remember, it's not that we don't want to push our ideas on people, but if people are receptive, provide it, right? It's about presenting it. That's what it's about. It's about going out and presenting it to people. And if they think, that's interesting, tell me more. Then tell me more. But if they just shut off, well, then fuck them. Don't cast pearls before those who won't appreciate it. But if you present it and they seem interested, then yeah. It's for those who have the eyes to see. Those who see, tell them more. Get them interested. Let them know that we're here to create a new world. Let them know that they too can be a part of something new. That they don't have to be an outcast. That they're not an outcast. Soldier of Vanity will absolutely have something like that at some point. members only secret live stream after this, where we're going to be taking a look at the first video I ever uploaded, and it's unlisted, it's private, so no one has seen it. No one has seen it, and it is cringy. It's actually, and it's not what you think. It's not what you think either. So if you want to be a part of that, I am putting the link in the comments. So if you want to support, now is a great time to support, and you will be able to be a part of that. By the way, guys, I see so many, there are 300 of you on Facebook. Do me a favor, please come on over to YouTube. The link is in the comments, or it's in the caption of the video. Come on over to YouTube and subscribe for two reasons. One, that's where I interact in the comments. And two, Facebook is extremely limiting to what I can post. So you're not seeing a lot of the things that I post. So Facebook is full of censorship, and it's a very difficult platform to post information on. So if you want to help this information get out there, come on over to YouTube and subscribe. Clive Faustin, thank you for helping us wake up the world. Gonna jump to the chat for a minute here. Devon Murray says, I came from Facebook. Welcome. Thank you for coming in. I'll shout you out if I see you come from Facebook and subscribe. Just let me know you did in the chat. Only one Master Shake. Thank you for helping us wake up the world. I always love seeing you in the chats. Thank you, Morg. You've helped me more than you could ever know. And the Hyperion philosophy has given me more than any other, and I've studied in my 49 years. Sending you much love and a huge mom hug for all you do. That's so nice. Thank you. You see, this community is so fucking awesome. I love this. Thank you. Thank you, because that really makes my day. And that's what I love about this, is that I'm putting out information that helps you, and then you're giving me feedback, and that helps me. So thank you. Things like that is why I do what I do. So thank you so much. That means a lot. I love, that just really means a lot, to hear that this is helping you, throughout 49 years of study. And that's what I want. I want to be able to make this information available to those who need it. Because I know so many people are hurting and feeling isolated and outcast. And I want to make that information available so people know that there's not something wrong with them. That's what I hate. I see these beautiful souls that are suffering. And they feel like that there's something wrong with them. But there's not anything wrong with them. There's something wrong with the world. Angela Wings, thank you for helping us wake up the world. And Nathan Cosper, thank you for helping us wake up the world as well. Christine Why Not says, just came from Facebook to YouTube. Thank you so much. Welcome. It's a much better place over here. A lot less trolls and a lot less censorship. Welcome, Angel. A lot of people coming from Facebook. Awesome. Abby Star's Child says, let's get together and build our own social networking site. Thank you for helping us wake up the world, by the way. At some point, I would love to do that. Right now, it's not really possible, but at some point, I would love to do that. The reason why it's not really possible right now is because, look, these social networking platforms are not great. They're not great. But what they do is they allow us to transmit a message. There are many people who are searching that will find us because we have these social media platforms to transmit a message. If we created our own social networking site right now, well, it would be all of us, and we would be talking to each other, and that would be great. That would be great. But we would have no way of reaching people, other people outside of us. We would be isolated, cut off, and self-contained. And at some point, we may be able to create a new social networking site for us. But right now, the important thing is about transmitting the message. So we don't want to be isolated, self-contained, and cut off. We want to have that community, but also being able to broadcast the signal so we can have people who need to hear it receive it. So great idea, and I understand where you're coming from, but the important thing is being able to transmit that signal right now. So this is why social networking sites are important at the moment. Cynthia Keys and Misty, thank you for helping us wake up the world. Cynthia says, I am just hurt that there is so much wrong with the world, not me as such. Well, I completely understand that. That's why we're working on changing it. Completely understand, Cynthia. Misty says, advice for someone living in a small, very religious-minded community, just under 400 people. I love rural life. Well, I feel you, my friend. I used to live in Montana, and I got out of there pretty quickly because of how close-minded it is. So I understand where you're coming from. But you say that you love rural life, so I would have said try and get out of there. But you like it. So I think what you're saying is you like the atmosphere, you just don't like the people. Well, when we are able, I know that most of us are under lockdown right now, but when we are able, what we should do is then work on building that Hyperion community. So then we can, hopefully at some point, get a Hyperion collective established out wherever, and perhaps you can help to establish that, perhaps, when we are able to do such things. Right now we just can't because of the pandemic. But that's exactly what it's about, right? So I would say get out of there, but if you can't get out of there, then at some point we need to create that physical Hyperion collectives to be able to connect. Right now we can't do that, so the best way to do it is through online, through the internet, through social media, connecting with like minds. Thank you to Tara, Angela, and Stillwaters for helping us wake up the world. Stillwater says every man and every woman is a star. Yes, I love that quote. That was from Alistair Crowley. Beautiful quote. I definitely don't agree with everything Crowley says, but he has some very poetic and beautiful ways of saying things. And I love every man and every woman is a star. So beautiful. I would simply change it to every person is a star to get rid of, the gender binary, but it's a beautiful thing to say. I love that. And let's see. Tara says left Facebook several weeks ago because of censorship. Yes, I completely understand. It's very difficult. Remember, if you're on Facebook, guys, please come on over to YouTube, subscribe there so you can see my stuff. Have you thought about making the Hyperionism face mask? At some point I will. Right now I'm just strapped for time, creating new videos. Live streams and regular videos combined, I'm doing about 4 videos a day. 4 videos a day. 4 videos a week. Can you imagine if I did 4 videos a day? 4 videos a week. And so that's really what's taking up my time right now. I'm really focusing on, while there's a lockdown and everything's going on, really focusing on broadcasting that message. So my focus is on creating right now. Welcome, Rodriguez. Kelly says, thank you for helping us look at the world. So thankful that the signal reached me. Feels like I'm stuck in the middle of that mainstream nothingness, and being awake, it's a hard place to be. Yes, absolutely, and I am so glad that the signal reached you, and that's why I say that it is important, right? Because if we were all closed off and disconnected, that signal would have never reached you. And that's why it is so important to be able to, this is why people say that, oh, I hate social media, and so I'm not going to use it. And I understand social media is toxic, but it's the tool that we have to get information out there. It's the tool that we have to get information out there. And without that tool, we wouldn't be able to broadcast our message. It's the medium for our waves to propagate. And so, even though it's toxic, it is what we have to work with. It's the medium that we have available with us to get that out there. And so I'm so glad it reached you. And I want others to take note of that too, that's why we should not disconnect ourselves, but rather broadcast a message that's different. Right? We're all about broadcasting that message. And that's what becoming a living archetype is all about. Zach Button, thank you for helping us wake up the world. And Trina Marie, thank you so much, Trina. So nice to see you for helping us wake up the world as well. Thank you for everyone for the super chats. That's how I'm able to do what I do. It means the world to me. And make sure you smash that like button as well. And once again, if you're from Facebook, come on over, let me know who you are in the chat, and I'll shout you out. Alan says YouTube has started censoring a lot too now. Yeah, I understand. It has. It's just less than Facebook. So it's all really, really difficult, and that's why I am so happy to have your guys' support, because social media is incredibly hard to work with. They don't like what I have to say. If I was if I was just making videos about playing Minecraft or something, oh my god, I could blow up. But no, I'm not here to contribute to the noise of this world. We're here to broadcast a new song. That's what we are. We are broadcasting that song. And then you hear, those who were seen dancing were thought insane to those who could not hear the music. We are the ones broadcasting that song so others may join us in our dance. And those people who think we're insane, fuck them. Because they're really the insane ones. They'd rather listen to noise and static, because through the noise and static that they're listening to, they can't hear the purest of music. They're deaf to the music of the sphere. Just because they just have constant static ringing in their ears. Welcome to everyone from Facebook, KN from Facebook. Well, yeah, that is true. Cindy says you are blowing up now. That is true. We are growing really fast. It was a couple months ago we reached 100,000 subscribers. Now we're doing hashtag MMM, Million Monad March, to reach 1 million. So yes, we are blowing up. But what I want you guys to know is we are blowing up despite the obstacles and adversity that we face. Right? And it's because, why? It's because that we are a strong and resilient community. It's because of your strength. It's because of our strength together that we are able to blow up despite the odds being stacked against us. I often get asked if I'm an atheist, and no, I'm not. I'm Hyperion, and that means that we understand that we are God. However, of course, we absolutely reject the absurd ideas of the Abrahamic God, blind faith, and random miracles. Now, we're autonomous individuals, self-guided by reason and wisdom. Despite all this, we're often attacked and trolled by atheists, which is kind of crazy. I'm going to clearly demarcate the differences between Hyperions and atheists. Now, no doubt, this is going to make atheists livid, but all I ask is that, hey, listen with the same open-mindedness that you wish religious believers had. It's imperative that we see past our differences and unite against our common enemy, the fracture programs of the Abrahamic faiths. Atheism is a broad term, and not everyone that calls themselves an atheist believes the same thing. So in this video, I'm going to be very general and discuss the most common ideas held by a modern-day atheist that would subscribe to scientific materialism. The biggest differences between Hyperions and atheists are regarding how we should come to knowledge about ultimate reality and the existence of a domain beyond the physical. These two differences have monumental implications. The first has to do with how we come to knowledge about reality. Hyperions are rationalists, while atheists are empiricists. This is a critical point, and it's crucial to understand what this means and what it implies. Rationalism means that knowledge of reality is obtained through logic and reason, whereas empiricism means that knowledge of reality is obtained through the senses. Many people think that atheists give primacy to logic and reason, but that's simply false. Atheistic empiricists consider rationalist methods to be a useful tool, but they always give priority to sense data. Hyperionism is the exact opposite. Hyperions understand that sense data can be a useful tool, but we always give priority to logic, reason, and mathematics. We don't deny the scientific method. It's incredibly powerful. However, we understand that it's only a tool applicable to the physical world of the holos. To understand ultimate reality, the source, we have to use ontological mathematics. Empirical methods don't apply to a non-empirical reality. Empiricists have a very hard time grasping this important point. Ontological mathematics goes above and beyond these methods. Now let's look at an example in quantum mechanics. If you aren't familiar with the double slit experiment, go watch the first part of the Hyperion movie where I explain it in detail. An atheistic materialist looks at the double slit experiment and will most likely adopt the Copenhagen interpretation. The Copenhagen interpretation is one of the most well-known interpretations of quantum mechanics, and if you've ever watched a video or documentary on quantum mechanics, this is most likely the interpretation that you were told. In an attempt to explain the results of the double slit experiment, the Copenhagen interpretation says that an unreal probability wave function collapses into existence upon measurement. Now, if that sounds confusing to you, that's because it doesn't make any sense. It's completely irrational. Remember that materialists don't believe in any kind of existence beyond matter. So when they say unreal, they don't mean mind or some other kind of existence other than the physical. They mean unreal. So their position is that an unreal wave collapses into reality. If this seems hard to grasp, that's because, again, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Remember, unreal doesn't mean non-physical because they don't believe in the non-physical. It simply means unreal, a completely undefined concept. To any rational person, this is obviously crazy, since you can't have something unreal suddenly becoming real. That's a miracle. You might as well say God did it. The reason that they take this position is because they're trying to find a way to explain the experimental results in terms of their materialist paradigm. In other words, they're trying desperately to make the data match their beliefs. Now, a Hyperion, being a rationalist, knows that the Copenhagen interpretation is absolutely 100% false, since it conflicts with logic and reason. We know that it's false, just as we know that the Abrahamic God is false. They're both crazy ideas that conflict with logic. The atheistic materialist can still believe the Copenhagen interpretation because they're empiricists first, even though it conflicts with logic and reason. Hyperions use the rationalist system of ontological mathematics to explain the double-slit experiment. We don't say that the particle randomly collapses into existence upon measurement from an unreal probability wave. What we say is that the particle follows a wave trajectory. In other words, a particle exists and its motion is that of a wave. This is the solution to wave-particle duality. A particle exists and follows a wave pattern. Our position is similar, but also has critical differences from Bohmian mechanics. Our position is 100% in accord with reason and is deducible from the first principles of ontological mathematics. Now, why don't atheists adopt this rational position and instead cling to their irrational position? Because it means that there's an existence beyond the physical. The wave trajectory that the particle follows is its internal mathematical programming. In other words, its mind. It's its mental component. This implies the existence of a mental reality. Because atheistic materialists are so wedded to empiricism, they would rather believe in an unreal wave than a mental wave. For them to adopt such a position, they would have to admit that materialism is false and that a mental reality exists. So instead, they ignore that idea and make up this idea of an unreal wave. In Hyperianism, we refer to the mental reality as the source. It's a realm of living mathematical frequencies, sine and cosine waves. We refer to these mathematical frequencies as inner light. It's a domain of thought. None of this has to do with belief or faith. It's all rationally deducible from our system of ontological mathematics. Atheistic materialism posits that you're nothing but material atoms, and when you die, that's it, and that there's nothing beyond the physical universe, which began when the Big Bang occurred randomly for no reason. This is an illogical position, but it supports their materialist paradigm, which is why they adopt it, even though it's absurd. Hyperianism posits that your body is just an avatar for your true self as an eternal mind called a monad. And a monad is a collection of mathematical sinusoids, inner light. There exists a domain of mind called the source. The Big Bang was the result of the mathematical sinusoids of the source going from symmetry to asymmetry. Reality is now teleologically striving for perfection. Now let's take a look at the effect that Hyperianism has on the individual. For example, if you're a Christian, you believe that God exists, and so you waste your life praising and trying to please God. If you're an atheistic materialist, you believe that reality is purposeless, and that when you die, and that's it. You only live once. What effect does Hyperianism have on the individual? It causes the individual to constantly strive to be the best version of themselves that they can possibly be, since this contributes to their evolution as a mind, leading to self and life improvement. They know that they will continue to exist even after death as a mind, and when they work on themselves, they are working on their own internal evolution. Hyperianism cultivates autonomy, free thought, and rational thinking. Since Hyperianism posits that all monads are eternal reflections of each other and the source, it causes people to care about not only themselves as individuals, but the collective of all life, since to irrationally impede another would ultimately to be impeding themselves. It causes them to take an interest in the well-being of the planet and to create a better future, as this leads to the optimization of the universe and creates a better environment for future incarnations. Even if you don't agree with the details of our system, you must agree that the effect that it has on the individual and society is extremely beneficial. Now, let's take a look at some of the commonalities between Hyperianism and atheism. Even though the exact details might be different, we both strive for clear and critical thinking. We both desire for people to be free thinkers. And we both recognize the importance of medicine, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and advancements in general. And we both understand the deadly damage that the Abrahamic religions cause. Obviously, we have major disagreements. But despite that, we understand that atheism is leaps and bounds above the Abrahamic religions. And atheists should recognize the same about Hyperianism. Given that, we should unite against the common scourge of the Abrahamic faiths, even though we have major disagreements. We should be standing against the system that wreaks havoc on the world, destroys the minds of children, subjugates women, and has killed and continues to kill countless people every day. This madness must end. It's time to unite and create a better world. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you enjoy my work, support me on Patreon so I can continue to create. I'd like to give a big shout out to all my supporters. Let's create that new world. My name is Morg, and I am Hyperion. Ad Astra, to the stars.
Ibalhin kay namin na umi. Muray buhatin yung lantaw ug mga binuang.
Did you know that Jesus invented hell? He made it up, lied. I'm going to show you that hell is just an idea that Jesus invented and why he made it up. Did you know that Jesus talks about hell more than anyone else in the Bible? Kind of strange for a guy supposedly all about peace and love. Hell is described as an eternal torture chamber where the souls of sinners will burn for eternity in a fiery pit where even the worms can't die. Jesus said, "And if your eye causes you to sin, tear it out. It is better for you to enter the kingdom of God with one eye than with two eyes, to be thrown into hell where their worm does not die and the fire is not quenched." Not a fun place. People all over the world believe in its literal existence, which is terrifying and incredibly psychologically damaging, especially to children. But guess what? Before Jesus showed up, hell wasn't a thing. The concept didn't exist. So did Jesus make it up? And if so, why the hell would he do that? Before I can show you how and why Jesus made up hell, you have to know a little something about how the Bible describes death. But first, if you like my work, hey, make sure you subscribe, because we're here to wake up the world, and by subscribing and liking this video, you're getting the algorithms to show the video to more people. So, hit it now. Now, okay? Alright. Anyway, to understand how death is viewed in the Bible, it's important to know that the Bible is divided into two parts, Dumb and Dumber. I mean, the Old and New Testament. The Old Testament is much longer than the New, and it contains many of the stories you've heard of, like Adam and Eve and Noah's Ark. Now, Jesus doesn't appear anywhere in the Old Testament. He only arrives in the New Testament. But why does this matter? Because hell isn't mentioned anywhere in the Old Testament, not even once. In fact, the view of death and the afterlife is completely different in the Old Testament. According to religious scholar Bart Ehrman, there wasn't a belief in the soul at all. Ehrman said, in the Old Testament, what we would call the soul is really more like what we would call the breath. When God creates Adam, he creates him out of earth, and then he breathes life into him. The life is in the breath. When you die, you stop breathing. Your breath doesn't go anywhere. And that was the ancient understanding, the ancient Hebrew understanding of the soul, is that it didn't go anywhere because it was simply the thing that made the body alive. And so in the Old Testament, there's no idea that your soul goes one place or another because the soul doesn't exist apart from the body. Existence is entirely bodily. Before modern Christianity, when someone died, they didn't go to hell, they went to Sheol. You've probably never heard of Sheol before, even though it's mentioned everywhere in the Old Testament. Sheol just means the grave, or place of the dead. Bart Ehrman said, if you actually look at what the Psalms say about Sheol, they always equate it to the grave, or to the pit. And so it appears that the ancient Israelites simply thought that when you died, your body got buried someplace. It got put in the grave, or got put in the pit. And that's what they call Sheol, is that place that your remains are. But it's not a place where you continue to exist afterwards. In the Old Testament, we don't have hell at all. All we have is Sheol, the grave. I bet you weren't taught that in Sunday school. So what happened? Why did Jesus come along and invent the idea of hell? Well, think about it. Hell defines Jesus. The whole point of Jesus is that he supposedly forgives you of your sins so that you won't burn in hell. But if there is no hell, then Jesus is utterly useless. In John 3:16, Jesus said, God so loved the world that he gave his only Son so that everyone who believes in him won't perish but will have eternal life. And in Matthew, the Son of Man, Jesus, will send his angels and they will gather out of his kingdom all causes of sin and all lawbreakers and throw them into the fiery furnace. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Once you inject the idea of the soul, heaven, and hell into your religion, suddenly you have an extremely powerful psychological system of reward and punishment. And this is metaphorically known as carrot and stick, due to the fact that you could get a horse to do what you want by threatening it with a stick or giving it the reward of a carrot. In mainstream Christianity, hell serves as the ultimate stick and heaven as the carrot. Now, I know this all too well since I grew up as a Christian, and the concept of hell was absolutely terrifying. I can't tell you how many sleepless nights this caused me as a child. So, you better believe I was going to be a good Christian. Hell is psychologically abusive to a child, and it can lead to religious trauma syndrome, which mimics the effects of PTSD. Dr. Marlene Winnell said, the psychological damage does not go away overnight. In fact, because the phobia indoctrination in young childhood is so powerful, the fear of hell can last a lifetime despite rational analysis. Likewise, the damage to self-esteem and basic self-trust can be crippling. This is why there are so many thousands of walking wounded, people who have left fundamentalist religion and are living with religious trauma syndrome. We can see a clear switch from how death is viewed in the Old Testament compared to what Jesus describes in the New Testament. In fact, Jesus talks about hell more than anyone else and describes a time when people will be separated into two groups. One that will spend eternity with him, and the other that will be thrown into unquenchable and eternal fire. So why would Jesus invent hell? Because if you're going to be the savior of mankind, you have to create something to save them from, or else you're pretty useless. Jesus invented the sickness to be able to sell everyone the cure. The ultimate con, the ultimate deception, the ultimate lie. Now this is like a superhero that ties someone up and then puts them on the train tracks, just so that later they can jump in and save them. Hate to break it to you, but that's not a savior. Now to be fair, in all likelihood, it was actually the church itself that invented the idea of hell, and then used Jesus and the Bible as a vehicle to spread their lies. But the point remains the same. People all over the world, especially children, are suffering extreme psychological torment because of these deadly ideas. Kids believe what you tell them. If you tell them that Santa is real, well, they leave out a plate of milk and cookies. What do you think it's going to do to their impressionable psyches when you tell them they could be thrown into a fiery pit of eternal torture? I remember being terrified to even question my beliefs because of the threat of hell. Now the reason I make these videos is to help people realize they don't have to live in fear. These are just empty ideas that have no basis in reality whatsoever. Hell, it doesn't exist. It's just an idea. And guess what? So is God. Watch my video, 100% proof that God does not exist, or check out my story growing up with religious trauma syndrome. Now help us spread this information by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and I want to give a big shout out to all my supporters on Patreon. Consider supporting on Patreon and get access to our secret weekly live streams. My name is Morg, and I am Hyperion, ad astra, to the stars. Do you know that there's actually more than one God in the Bible? And not only is God just one of many gods, he's actually a savage war god. Christianity is a monotheistic religion, which means there is only one God. But the problem is that there are many gods in the Bible, and verses show that the so-called one true God is just one of many gods, and this completely destroys the position of mainstream Christianity and the Abrahamic religions in general. You see, God isn't actually a God of peace and love at all. I bet you didn't know that he accepted a burnt virgin sacrifice and executed all the firstborn children of Egypt. Now this all makes a lot more sense when you realize that he's just one of many gods and is actually a bloodthirsty war god that took over. I criticize mainstream religion because I used to be a Christian and have experienced firsthand the damage that it causes. I suffered from religious trauma syndrome, or RTS, and it's my goal to help others that might be in a similar situation. So I demonstrate how mainstream religious beliefs are incompatible with logic and reason, highlight absurdities and contradictions in the Bible, and show just how much evil and violence are perpetrated by the so-called God of the Bible. So if that interests you, help us wake up the world and subscribe now. We're exploring two of the central themes of Christianity, which is that there is only one God and that he's a God of peace and love. Well, we have the verses that smash those ideas to pieces and show that he's actually a bloodthirsty war god. During the creation of humans, Genesis 1:26 says, "Then God said, let us make humans in our image, in our likeness." Well, that sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? Now let's look at Genesis 3:22. It says, God said, "Look, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil." If there's only one God, why the talk of us and our? Now, mainstream Christianity would claim that these verses are talking about the Trinity, but the Trinity, it wasn't officially established until the Council of Nicaea, hundreds of years later. So not only would this be extremely confusing for the people of the time it was written for, but this argument doesn't hold any water for the other Abrahamic religions that don't believe in the Trinity. So what's actually going on here? Well, it all becomes clear when we realize that early scripture was written when the Israelite religion was still polytheistic. In other words, they believed in many gods. It's important to note that one of the first names used for God is Elohim. And the word Elohim is a plural noun for gods or deities. Additionally, Elohim almost certainly has roots in the polytheistic Canaanite gods, the children of El. The Canaanites worshipped many gods, and the most notable for our discussion are El Elyon, the most high god, Asherah, his wife, and Baal. In the Hebrew text, El Elyon, or El Shaddai, is the god worshipped in Genesis, the first book of the Bible. However, beginning in Exodus, he's replaced by Yahweh. Yahweh is a savage god of war, an extremely jealous god that demands that people worship him alone, and anyone who disobeys will have their children punished, as well as their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren, and, well, you get the idea. Remember the 10 Commandments? Well, the first of Yahweh's 10 Commands is, "You shall have no other gods before me. I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. That's right, the Ten Commandments were written by Yahweh, a war god. And punishing kids who did nothing wrong? Not very fair, is it? Well, savage war gods aren't exactly known for being fair. And this is where things start to get insane. So Yahweh declares war on all the gods of Egypt, clearly implying that these gods exist and he will defeat them. In Exodus, we even see Egyptian sorcerers perform a miracle by changing a staff into a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called for the wise men and the sorcerers, and they too, the soothsayer priests of Egypt, did the same with their secret arts. Each one threw down his staff, and it became a serpent. In Yahweh's declaration of war against Egypt and its gods, he sends 10 terrible plagues. And what's the grand finale? He causes the execution of all the firstborn children of Egypt. Exodus 11:5, all the firstborn sons will die in every family in Egypt, from the oldest son of Pharaoh who sits on his throne to the oldest son of his lowliest servant girl who grinds the flour. Even the firstborn of all the livestock will die. Now, does that sound like a God of peace and love to you? An all-loving, one true God? Remember, this is the God of the Abrahamic religions, including Christianity. But we're just getting started because it gets a lot worse. The Bible describes Yahweh as craving animal sacrifice. Then burn the whole ram on the altar. It's a burnt offering, a soothing aroma, an offering by fire to the Lord. He demands that his followers sacrifice 2 lambs per day. This is what you are to offer on the altar regularly each day. 2 lambs, 1 year old. Offer one in the morning and the other at twilight. But it's not just animal sacrifice, but human sacrifice as well. When Jephthah conquers the Ammonites, Yahweh accepts Jephthah's daughter as a burnt virgin sacrifice. Does this sound like a loving God? Clearly not. And not everyone fell for this. The Gnostics were actually a group of heretical Christians that thought the God of the Bible wasn't the true God at all, but an evil God born from chaos, the devil himself. Well, what does it sound like to you? What makes more sense? Does accepting animal sacrifice and a burnt virgin sacrifice sound like an all-loving God or like a satanic being? Tell me in the comments. Yahweh was clearly a being of war and destruction, and the Bible admits this. Psalm states, Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. When the Israelites reached the promised land and no longer needed help in war, they began worshiping the gods Baal and Asherah. Now, if Yahweh is the one true God, doesn't that sound like a very strange thing to do? Why on earth would you worship some false gods instead of the one true God? Well, it all makes a lot more sense when you realize that Yahweh was just one of many gods, and Yahweh was a cruel, bloodthirsty war god, not a pleasant guy. So when they no longer needed help in war, they turned to the other gods, such as the goddess Asherah and the fertility god Baal. It's apparent that Yahweh, a war god, was originally one of many gods. And when we look at the Hebrew texts, we can see that it began in a polytheistic manner. Psalms reads, God stands in the assembly of the gods. He stands as judge among the judges. So it evolved to get its believers to abandon their gods and pledge their allegiance to Yahweh. It began in a polytheistic way and evolved to convince believers that Yahweh was the most powerful of the gods. Then eventually, it phased out the other gods altogether and became monotheistic. Originally, Yahweh was worshipped along with many of the other Canaanite deities, such as El Elyon, Asherah, and Baal. But as the religion evolved throughout the years, El Elyon, the Most High God, you see referenced in Genesis, was merged with Yahweh, making them one, while the worship of the other gods was condemned. So Yahweh was promoted to the one true God, and eventually the very existence of foreign gods was denied, and Yahweh was declared the grand creator of the universe. We finally see this transition of a belief in many gods to a belief in one God in Isaiah, a later book in the Bible. This is what Yahweh says, I am the first and the last, There is no Elohim except me. I am Yahweh, and there is no other. There is no other God besides me. From the east to the west, people will know that there is no God except me. I am Yahweh, and there is no other. The Bible has since been translated to reflect this belief, as though it had been monotheistic the whole time, merging El Elyon and Yahweh into one. The Bible is not the work of a perfect, inerrant, all-loving God. The Bible represents man-made beliefs that began with many gods, then eventually proclaimed the supremacy of Yahweh, and then dismissed with the other gods entirely. In the New Testament, Christ comes on the scene, and he's declared to be the Son of God. This is a man-made religion that reflected the mindset of the times it was written in, and it's been changed, altered, translated, and retranslated many times. It was originally for people that were polytheistic, so it evolved to convince polytheists to become henotheists, and finally to become monotheists. Now, why should you care about any of this? Well, when the Bible is taken as just a story or a metaphor with its hateful passages removed, I have no problem with it. But when it's taught to many children as though it were absolute truth, that's when I get angry, and so should you. It contains many horrific teachings of homophobia, sexism, hate, and violence. It's mentally abusive and causes religious trauma syndrome, RTS, which shares the symptoms of PTSD, and no child should have to go through that. The Bible is founded on the belief in a war God, so is it any wonder that so many wars have been fought in its name? Enough is enough. Yahweh, the war God, is a fiction. He doesn't exist. But it doesn't matter, because the idea of Yahweh exists, and he's still causing war and destruction throughout the world, and children are still suffering and being mentally abused through its damaging teachings. So help us build a new world that's founded on logic and reason, so we can finally be free of dangerous beliefs. Check out my story with religious trauma syndrome, or my video on Is God Actually the Devil? Like and share this video and subscribe to help us spread this information. And a big shout out to all my supporters on Patreon. If you enjoy my work, consider supporting on Patreon and get access to our weekly secret live streams. My name is Morg, and I am Hyperion, Ad Astra, to the stars. There is a hidden God that the church doesn't want you to know about. They don't want you to know about this God because it's the real God, and knowledge of this God will allow you to escape from the material realm. This is a hidden God, a secret God, and the truth of the hidden God is what the church fears the most. This hidden God is higher than their God. I'm going to show you the secret knowledge of this hidden God that has been buried for centuries, and how you can use this knowledge to remember that the God described throughout history is actually you. You've simply forgotten, but you've left yourself clues all around so that you can remember, and we're going to uncover them right now. Does this sound hard to believe? Crazy? Well, what if it's true? I know you felt like this place is very strange, very wrong, that there's something not quite right with this world. What if that's because everything you've been told is a lie, and you aren't what you think you are? Let's discover the clues in the hidden God, the God that the church doesn't want you to know about. There were a group of Christians known as Gnostics that knew about this hidden God, but they were persecuted as heretics and blasphemers, and their books were banned from the Bible. Gnostic means knowledge, and Gnostics were dedicated for searching for enlightenment in secret and hidden wisdom, and this seriously threatened the power of the church. In an effort to unify the empire and control the people, the Roman Emperor Constantine made Christianity the state religion. In short, in the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, it was decided what would be the official doctrine of Christianity, and Gnostic teachings were outlawed. Knowledge that could liberate you would of course be anathema to a system of religious control. I'm going to show you how exactly the hidden God is you, but first you have to know something about Lucifer and Satan. You see, mainstream Christian doctrine would have you believe that Satan and Lucifer are the same being, but nothing could be further from the truth. Secret societies, occult, and esoteric doctrines know very well that not only are Satan and Lucifer different, they are polar opposites. To better understand this, let's take a look at the attributes of Satan and Lucifer. Satan is about darkness, selfishness, the individual, dominance over others, while Lucifer is about light, altruism, the collective, and equality. They couldn't be more different. They are opposites in every single way. Now, why is this important to know? Because the God of the Bible is actually Satan. The ancient Gnostics knew this. Now, this might seem surprising, but it just goes to show you how well centuries of brainwashing works. All the evidence is right there in the Bible. Just look at the verses. The God of the Bible accepts a virgin sacrifice, demands blood sacrifice, commands Abraham to murder his only son, has the firstborn son of every child in Egypt killed among countless atrocities. Now, does that sound like a loving God to you? Or a satanic being? If someone had never heard of this before and was coming across this information for the first time, they would conclude that that God was in fact a Satan, a devil. Lucifer, attempting to revolt against this tyrant with his host of angels,